Good morning, everybody. Yes, I know I'm late. All right, so let's get to the brass tacks. Last night we intended to have a movie playing from the Blu-ray drive, but it seemed either drive or the media or both was malfunctioning. So unfortunately, some of the Lord of the Rings did not get a chance to play properly. So we ended up watching a movie on the Roku box, which plugged into the same HDMI input, and we watched Sonic the Hedgehog instead, which I thought was pretty interesting. But by the time that was over, it was 11 o'clock at night. So that's why I don't really do night shows much, because they mess up my sleeping pattern for the next day. I usually do them on the weekends because that way, especially for the Silvermoon Radio, for example, which that sometimes still messes up my morning shows too, because I wake up, because I go to sleep late and then I wake up and it's next thing you know, you only get like 3 hours, 4 hours sleep. You then get a nap in, and then you're like, so I, that's one of the reasons I usually just don't do a night show, because I figure if I like to sleep, and I like to sleep in the daytime, especially now that summer's coming up. It's gonna be more essential for me to get back to my summer sleep patterns, because it's starting to get hot and the bugs are coming out, and it's just easier to take a siesta in the daytime than it is at night, and it's cool.
Oh yeah!
Right. So, but we had a pretty interesting movie night last night. Also, kind of got an impromptu survey in it. Not too many people enjoyed Lord of the Rings, but more people sure enjoyed Sonic the Hedgehog, though, which doesn't surprise me. I know, Noodles. At ease. The other thing I want to cover is last night, or yesterday morning, we had a bit of a controversy with a couple people here. I've been talking to one of them in email after the show, and unfortunately, the other one has not reached out to me yet, even though I need to give her some appraisal of what's going on. I don't want to bring it up here because unless she comes up here, I was hoping to get the two women to talk to each other on panel. But I don't know where Tiger Kitty is, and Avoid did not confirm if she was going to come up either. So I don't know if we're going to be able to get to the bottom of this. So let's just give a quick summary. And I mean quick. All right. Avoid does not know everything that Jay and Elle have not been doing, because they delete their shows. I need some people to start digging up old show information. Ideally whole shows of Jay and Elle. Maybe somebody has them on Google Drive or some other place that they can share them out to the different people, such as Avoid, who's trying to do some reconnaissance right now to get an example of what's going on with Jay and Elle. So if you're willing to start copying the shows and storing them in an undisclosed location, locker or whatever, and are willing to share us the links to them for her, we really would very much appreciate any help you can give, because we're trying to sort out the crazy mess that's going on. And we thank you very much. So let's get the panel open, which is actually already open technically. Just to let you know that. Let's get the panel open. Let me put it on the screen. And okay. Did she get in contact with you yet? All right, so PANELLINK panel link. Also, Tiger Kitty has not been in discussion with me, and so if anybody here knows what Tiger Kitty is, I'd like her to get back to me as well. So if you know where Tiger Kitty is, tell her I need her to reach out to me too. Okay. So let me slap my cursor over to the panelist side so I can quickly administer them as they come up. And oh, hailing frequencies are open, Captain. All right, so we'll discuss that in a second. So the first thing is like I said, we had the last night's stream was a little bit of an experiment and was also unfortunately a little bit of a failure. The first way it was a failure was the media on the Blu-ray drive had problems. Even the disc set was all nice and shiny and new and never read, no scratches, no surface imperfections, was skipping 2. Now, when I see that happen on a DVD drive, that means one of 2 things. One, and there are usually some little belts inside those things that could be slipping, and which means that the drive itself is going to need new belts. Not something that I can easily fix because the belts are very tiny. Okay. The second reason why you sometimes get discs what they call rot. They start to rot away, particularly some pressings of DVDs tend to have this rotting problem where the disc starts to deteriorate. The Lord of the Rings DVD, when they first played absolutely fine when I got them. When Tiger Kitty sent them a couple of years ago, but now they're not. So that could be the rot I'm talking about. Also, the disc seems very translucent, almost transparent, which implies that the dye layers are starting to fade. And good morning, Mojo. How are you doing today? Welcome to the show. I also have DVDs that have pinholes in them. Mostly CDRWs that I've recorded. And so that is a good example of what I call rot. I've also had discs with labels that came off them. Again, they're CDR discs, and on the CDR disc, the label, which is glued to the disc, holds the dye laser or the dye layer that actually has been burnt to by the laser light. Okay. So you get these discs like that when the disc starts to rot and it starts to look like termites are getting at them, and you know they're not termites, of course. It's just chemical. But the thing is, getting enough of those holes when this disc ain't going to be useful for anything except a coffee drink holder. Okay. But oh well, look, we played a movie. it kind of they played two Lord of the Rings movies. They both had the same problem. One disc actually did have two little scratches in it, and one disc had none. And and they're both from the same set of discs. So that tells me that there definitely is something going on with the media. Um, Thank you, says Mojo. You're welcome. I did. It was very windy. I did record a video. I didn't upload it because I felt it was, shall I say, not exactly my best performance. That I did go outside. I did do a little bit of wiggles and jiggles. So, I mean, I had a good morning or afternoon, but I got my latest T-Mobile bill, and I turned off the auto pay. And let me tell you why. Last month, I got billed twice. Oh no! And the first reason was because old habit. I pay my bills in advance. And so I forgot the auto pay was turned on and I paid the bill. And then they charged me when they're automatically supposed to on the first of the month of March. And I said, you know what? This isn't going to work. I don't get paid until the third of the month. If I have somebody going into my bank with my permission and taking the money out of the bank, and what if the money's not there? Then it's going to bounce. And I'm not very enthusiastic about that. And so I turned off the auto pay, which made my bill go up about $20, which I guess is not too bad. At least I got the security of knowing that the payments only go out when I tell them to go out, which I think is a big step in the right direction. Uh, so Rusty the cat. Let's talk about Rusty. I think he's having some problems with his food. I think right now he's eating too much food, or which I think is part of it. Sometimes he bolts his food down, and Noodles can relate to this. Sometimes he pukes it up, like because he's eating too much. And so I'm trying to get him to eat less a little bit because number one, he's got enough calories in his body right now. He doesn't have to need to bolt his food down. He really doesn't. And the second reason is I think as he gets older, the food might be a little bit hard on his tummy. He may not be able to handle that chewing that hard food as much anymore. After all, he is about 13 years old. Hell, I have a hard time chewing food sometimes too because I'm getting old too. So we're gonna try to give him less food and help get his weight down just a little bit. And of course, we're gonna give him fresh water like we always do, and a little bit of food in the morning, but not as much. Maybe it's just a temporary thing. I hope, but I know Fame in the end had a hard time eating because he had a stroke. Rusty doesn't seem to have that kind of condition, thank goodness. Yeah, exactly. I don't know why they do that. Then why do some people do that too? There are people that eat like there's no tomorrow, and then their stomach gets all aggravated, and next thing you know, so just like they end up just dropping everything I ate right into the garbage can again, and that's not too good either. Okay, I got somebody to come up on panel. Let me get them on here. Good morning, Noodles.
Hey, Michelle.
How you
So
doing?
I'm surprised you never seen Lord of the Rings before. I was really surprised by that.
No, I never saw the movie before. Tiger Kitty bought me the DVDs about 2 years ago.
What did you think of it? Did you think it was cool?
Um, the part of it I saw before all the DVDs started going wonky, yeah, I thought it was okay. But I think that Sonic the Hedgehog was better.
Really?
Um,
Wow.
it certainly had more people interested in Sonic the Hedgehog than they were in Lord of the Rings.
Wow. That's pretty crazy. I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
I'm not really.
So I got a question for you.
Sonic is a fun movie.
So I got a question for you, Michelle. You think that Avoid doesn't know what JNL is doing?
Well, from what she told me, and I'm not going to give out confidential information, but what I could tell you, she's only been with them for a while. She left, and then she came back into the show. Um, so right now, she really doesn't know what's happening because she had been out of the program for, she's back. She's been back for a few months. So she doesn't know what happened last year with me and Lolly in September of 2023. She doesn't know about the swattings and the crazy shenanigans that were going on. So because they delete the shows, and
Oh,
because
that's
they delete
weird.
shows,
Yeah.
especially shows like that, where they actually encourage this kind of behavior, they she can't find them, and
Really?
so she's not getting the information she needs. And I think we need to give her the whole show, not just quotes. I think we need to give her the whole show.
I just find that hard to believe. You know, that's all. That's all.
I, I
I don't want to cause any problems for you, Michelle.
but
But I find that very hard to believe.
said, I said, Noodles. I said, this is something you should be proud of. I told her, I said, look, Noodles deep down's a good guy. If you know, give Noodles a chance. He's not really out there to hurt anybody. Yes, she just really loves him a lot, and so she's a little jealous of you. But I don't think you really need to worry. Um, with Slurp the Noodles, if anybody can get to the bottom of this crazy shenanigans, he can. He's got some smart eyes out there on the road. He's got people that are monitoring and patrolling Jane, and I'm sure that we can get you access to the video clips and the full video show so you can watch them from beginning to end.
Yeah.
Um, that's all.
I just find that very hard to believe. But I'll take her word for it. I mean,
Right. I want Tiger Kitty back too because Tiger Kitty needs to also talk to Void about this. Is this noodles? I think we all need to discuss this. So we need also all the undisclosed videos that have been deleted that we can go back. Now, if we could get enough uh legal support where we can get a lawyer demanding that YouTube undelete the contents that in the tape archives they have for motions and discovery. Maybe we could uh, give enough for to actually see what actually was going on.
all right. I mean, if that's what you're worried about, I mean,
Yeah. Well, I want Tiger back too, guys. So we're trying to straighten out this mess. That's why we're going to discuss it here this morning after cooler heads prevailed. But unfortunately, Tiger's not back.
where was Tiger, Michelle?
I don't know.
Is there a problem?
yesterday because I didn't really um, feel that bringing it up in a live show was good for my channel, and so Tara got upset because I told her at the time. I said I don't need to make waves right now because we're trying to, um, keep the show on a happy note, and
Well, I don't understand what kind of waves are you talking about. I'm not following what happened. I don't really know what happened recently.
yeah.
Sorry, Michelle.
Yeah, did she wanted to talk to Voight yesterday. So that's why we need to finally get the two together because she wanted to talk to Voight yesterday on panel.
Uh, again, I don't know what happened, and I'm not trying to cause any problems or any beef between anyone. So I'm just trying to figure it out, Michelle. I
I'm not
apologize.
trying to see if I'm seeing it. It's one of the reasons why I'm trying to find out and do motions of discovery and find out what the real story is because it's just very um sad. It's just it's heartbreaking. That you know the whole situation should be ameliorated. I don't know how to begin to do that because first of all, I would like to see people present the facts, and that's what Tiger Kitty wanted to do. But I at the time felt that Tiger Kitty was coming in at a very strange time in the morning show when we originally weren't even talking about Avoid at all. And then it's just, I felt that at the time is that maybe this should be discussed outside of YouTube, not on YouTube. And I still think that still would be the best. Um, Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, I know she was upset. Uh, Avoid is been here, and Tiger Kitty found out that Avoid was kind of involved with J&L, but Avoid did not. Is being allegedly accused of saying things against my show. But again, all we have is little text clips. We need to see the actual videos. And the problem is, J&L deletes their videos. Unlike me, I don't delete mine on a regular basis. And so, because J&L deletes their content, we have no full context of what was being said. No, she didn't. Don't worry about the solar panel thing. Actually, solar panels are actually pretty expensive. Each one, like a 175-watt one, is like $200. Okay, but that doesn't include charge controller, the battery. It's just a panel. For a 175-watt panel, new. You can buy used ones, by the way, for about 60. As the 8-bit guy has found sources of used panels in Dallas, Texas, for a lot less money. Um, I don't know what the lifespan of them are. I don't know how much life are left in them, but um, you can buy them used. Yes, I've heard that. I have heard that, but again, I'm trying to grow this channel, and the problem is that it seems that there are situations outside of my control that just keep coming up, like this, that make my blood boil because I'm like, these J and L, as we know, and Krista can confirm this, have said some very negative stuff about me and Krista's own show. And I don't know why they do what they're doing over there in J&L. I don't have any reason to understand the modus operandi of them, but I do know that they have said some inflammatory, false mistruths about my show. And that it's not growth. I understand negativity, but I'm saying this is look. We don't need to try to bring all this drama stuff onto this channel either. I really don't. But as a person that tries,
Michele, we understand you don't want to put up with it, you don't want to deal with it, but you're talking about it. So, what's the deal here? Are we?
because I'm a peacemaker. At least that's my intention. I'm trying to bring peace to the world, one step at a time.
Yeah. So, Michele, these people you're trying to bring peace or peace with, Michele, they don't want that. They don't want that, Michele. They're here to destroy it.
Closed captions.
Right.
As far as Pete, i.e., Peter Schnetty and trolling, I don't want them back here. Those two have caused me irreparable harm. So I guess that's it. That's all I got to say. I mean, I did definitely give a voice something last night with both barrels when I first got back to her and it's in the women's group. There was something conversations after that. It's not in the women's group, but I can copy the whole message and put it in the women's group if you really want it. But it's just goes on and on and on and on. She's very verbose. She writes a lot of things. Thank you so much. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. So right now the weather's gonna be warm noodles. What's your plans today?
Working, Michele.
Okay. Working in jail. How did you end up in jail? That's what the closed caption said. I don't know what you're doing there. I don't think is that a toilet? It sounds like a toilet with a very long flush cycle.
What, Michele? I'm sorry.
Oh, I was listening to the sound that you had in the back that sounded like the loud whoosh.
Oh yeah, it's saw.
Okay. Have a good Leo. See you later, Leo. Um, so the Toyota RAV4 has been running good for you?
Yeah, it's great, Michele. Thanks for asking.
That's good. I'm glad the truck is doing what you want it to do.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Thank you.
Yeah. Well, right now we got 18 people watching right now. We just got a new subscriber. I want to say thank you to this subscriber. I didn't get a chance to look on the screen and say, I mean, I didn't really recognize the person's name, but welcome to the channel anyway, subscriber. I do appreciate you being here. Yeah. So next week, I don't know if we're going to be showing Blu-rays, DVDs, CDs, 35 millimeter films. Yeah, right. We're going to get the super simplex projectors for those. I don't know. Lamp house is running 240 volts and 60 amperes. I know. And they need to be ventilated to the outside because of the carbon arc and the ozone reduction. I literally know that. And so we're going to try to get some movies for next week. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We are almost to 100 people. We're too short of 100 for Kick. So we are still growing on Kick, guys. Good morning, Brian PC. Welcome to the show today. So, yeah, I really, like I said, I want to try to make peace with people, and unfortunately, it's not the intention's not there. I mean, we all know the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Um, I would just like to see, people be happy and healthy. Yeah. So let's talk about topics. Well, yeah, we have topics. We mentioned something about last night. We plugged in our Roku box into the Mac using an HDMI to USB 3.0 capture card. And it works swimmingly well because, like I said, we watched Sonic the Hedgehog on it last night. The next movie that was on after that was Mean Girls. I didn't want to stay up to watch Mean Girls. I was already 11 o'clock at night. And I was already getting pretty tired. So, it was just very interesting to be able to get that movie up there on the screen and show what can work. So we have more than one way to watch a movie now. So we don't just have to watch it on YouTube. We don't necessarily have to download it from the Pirate Bay. But if the Blu-ray player is kind of broken, if the Blu-ray player is broken, let's be honest when I say that, or if the discs have faded away to obscurity, I don't know which one it is because I don't have any other DVDs to play and check because I gave all the extra discs to Krista because I didn't think we were going to be playing deep Blu-rays anymore. And so we're going to get some new movies out. Thank you very much, Seabreeze. Much appreciate it. Anybody wants to come up on the panel? Here is the link. Okay. Link. If you want to come up on the panel, turn from you. So, Tiger still isn't back yet. That's well. If you're gonna, that's not really the topic. Because it's not something that would be the entire topic of the show. But we already know that Tiger Kitty got upset yesterday, and she stormed out of the group. She's still on the women's group, but she hasn't contacted me yet. Nobody's punishing anybody, Red. But those commercials on that movie night were certainly punishing everybody, though. 7 commercials in a row, including commercials makes that medication have the ability to cause death? I, why are they making medications like that can cause significant weight gain, death, diabetes, and everything else, all to cure some illness I never even heard of? I just don't understand that. There's one thing the UK don't have to deal with is American TV commercials talking about how people are happy that they're popping pills for a condition that no one ever heard of. Yes, she did. I didn't tell her to leave. She stormed out of the panel. But I still need to get her back to her and discuss some concerns with her off camera, and so we need to reach out to her. Okay, so I got more information, and the woman's group ready to be released. Good morning, David. Welcome to the show. So, you know, I still have a hard time with a couple things with the show. First of all, let's be honest here, okay? My channel it's got its ups and downs, kind of like an elevator, and it's um it's very hard to develop a loyal group, and while some channels just take everybody at face value and don't say nothing, um I tend to be maybe a little bit too kind-hearted, I think. Right, supposedly. Now, if anybody knows what's going on about Jay now, it's German lady. But German lady don't like me, so that's not gonna happen.
Why doesn't German lady like you, Michelle?
I don't know. I don't know why she don't.
Isn't that weird? That kind of weird. It's just really bizarre behavior from these people. And I've said this before. I don't remember you ever having a problem with anyone,
I don't.
except for the people that have.
Is that if you
Wait, let
look
me finish, Michelle. Let me finish. The only problem you've ever had with anyone were the people that were harassing you. Just remember that. The only people that ever had a problem with you, Michelle, that I've ever met were people that were harassing you. I find it very strange how she's got a problem with you.
Well, all I know is from what little I saw from the messages that Tiger Kitty showed where German lady was talking about me.
Isn't that weird?
Because remember, they weren't focusing necessarily on German lady's message, but she was before her voice. So it was like, what's German lady saying? And it doesn't sound complimentary. But then again, there we go with the other context. I wasn't. So I need to see the whole. I need to see the whole transcript. I need to see the whole show.
Yeah. I
Because
don't know, Michelle. I don't understand why anyone would have a problem with you. You don't do anything to anyone, Michelle. I've never had a problem with you. I mean, sometimes you're a little difficult, but that's about it. You shouldn't be dealing with this.
yeah,
Sir.
Mojo says German lady is a J&L fervent supporter, and she loves noodles.
Why would she have a problem with you? That's what I don't understand.
Well, she says she hates you. She said that German lady hates you.
Yeah, I know, but why would German lady have a problem with you?
Wait, because she knows I'm friends with you. That's probably why.
Is that weird? Because I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't hate people who go over. I mean, here's the thing, Michelle. Like, I'm for real life friends with you. I've met you. I like hanging out with you.
You're real friends with me, IRL. I know that.
Yeah. All right.
Like I said,
But
it's just weird the way some of these people act. Like sometimes, like they're I don't know. It's just like cliques in high school in some ways. I mean, J and L have a clique
yeah,
of their own, and I have a clique of my own. And there are some crossovers between the two sides.
yeah.
And then, so I'm not really sure what information I'm really getting because, you know, I can't verify anything because J and L erase all their shows to avoid being struck because they know that the content in violation of YouTube's terms of service.
Yeah, Michelle, you want to know something, Michelle? I don't understand how people can have shows, right, that dox people, they swat people, they promote all this stuff, they say they're going to kill people, etc.,
Every,
and they're monetized. I don't get it.
First of all, because they delete their content before YouTube gets a chance to investigate it.
Now, you know what it is, Michelle? I was talking to someone today, and it's I think what they do is nobody is really paying attention to them. So, for instance, the people that probably would pay attention are the ones that are mass flagging you, mass flagging me, other channels, and these are people that are helping them out doing this stuff. I'm telling you, Michelle,
Well, I can
you're trying to argue with
flag
bullies, Michelle. You're trying to argue with bullies. You're trying to figure out why a bully is a bully. You're trying to figure out why this person's doing this to you, Michelle. It's not worth it. I'm telling you. But I'm sorry, but Avoid knows. Avoid's not dumb.
yeah.
Michelle, Avoid knows what's going on. You don't have to go out of your way to explain it to her.
Well, what I was going to say was just to clarify to my knowledge, I'm not being mass flagged. I don't have anything that they could really do. And my shows are online. YouTube actually had to verify them day after day after day after day after day after day.
Michelle,
And
you were getting phone calls, right? And
um,
people were by private investigators.
uh,
The police were coming to your house, right?
right.
You know, Michelle, listen, these are bullies. I'm telling you, Michelle. I mean, you wanna go beyond the Call of Duty to point something out to someone that might be involved. I don't even know. I don't know what's going on, Michelle. But for that person to say she doesn't know what's going on over there, come on, she knows. She's watching everybody's stuff.
And likely she knows, but maybe she doesn't believe it. Maybe she's in doubt, or maybe she's in denial.
Well, you never know, Michelle. Maybe that's the truth. I don't know. But my point is that you trying to prove it to people. Who are you trying to prove it to? You don't know if they're the bullies, Michelle. You have no idea. You could be trying to prove that these people are evil to the people who are evil. You know what I'm trying to get at, Michelle. That's it. That's all I'm trying to say.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, we still can't get Tiger Kitty back right now. Maybe she'll be back in a week. Maybe she won't be. Avoid's not here right now, so but that could mean anything. I don't know what it means. Maybe she is in denial. Maybe she's not. I don't know. But all I know is that I'm trying to grow a channel, and unfortunately, you're gonna get all kinds, good and bad, on these platforms. Well, still,
So this is the problem, guys. This is going to cause major issues for her physically and psychologically, and this is why I'm not like, oh, ha 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 ha, it's a joke. This is going to be a big problem in the next month. I'm telling you, or in possible next week. And Michelle, I'm going to tell you something. You shouldn't worry about it. That's all I'm saying. I really don't want you worrying about it. That's all.
Yeah, I hear the birds outside, by the way. I need a video. I hear the
Yeah,
little.
I'm outside smoking a cigarette.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is that hurts me is the fact is that, and a lot of other channels is that we're trying to reach out to an audience and present content. And yet there are others that tear your channel down, and then you're asking yourself, why are you doing that? And then like everybody says to me, like, for example, your channel, and Noodle's channel is going like crabgrass. Well, this is great. I said that's fine, but Noodles has a different kind of audience than me. My audience does intersect with Noodles' audience. There is some crossover, but they're different audience. They're here, um, and loves me when they obviously they love when you're on panel because I think it's great, and I really do appreciate you coming on panel. And they love when I do crossover on your show. We're traveling and we're doing things, which is great too. But they realize that I don't have a car and I can't drive, so I can't do the same kind of content you do.
No, that's not Michelle. That's not what it's about. It's about interacting with people. We have you interacting with Emmy, JMac, Slingshot War. These are good people, Michelle. I'm
Yeah,
telling you.
I actually
You know,
wanted Spencer Warrior to come up on panel one day, but like he said, he's never really watched my show.
it doesn't matter. No one's gonna Michelle. It doesn't matter. You're interviewing people. You're the host. You're hosting something, and that's it. Don't worry about that, Michelle. We'll get you more people. You'll interact with more people. But Michelle, you trying to prove to a group of people that something's going on, I just think you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
I really do.
Well, also we know politically what's going on with the world is also some would say is trying to make a mountain out of a molehill as well, politically and environmentally. But somebody has to do it. Somebody has to bring up the news too, right? Someone has to share the facts, just the facts, just the facts. Nothing. Try to keep the opinion out of it as much as you can. It's not always easy to do.
Yeah, no, absolutely, Michelle. Whatever you're doing is perfect. I'm just saying, don't waste your energy. Don't waste your time. Spend it on something else, Michelle. With
Yeah.
with with those other people. That's all. You'll be fine.
So good morning, Bianca. Good to see Breeze. Good morning to you. Fireworks display. Bang, bang, bang. Bianca, could we pretend to at least pretend to be on my side at once? Well, I mean, you going on J Max today? Because I'd be there at
Yeah,
5.
absolutely, absolutely. I'm a big time supporter of them, Michelle. They're a big time supporter of you. We're all friends, and you know it'll be great, Michelle.
Unfortunately, the stuff I'm passionate about doesn't necessarily bring in clicks. It doesn't bring in views. Um, it doesn't bring in super chat or super stickers or super things. Because it's too eclectic and too specialized. And that's the reality. So I've been trying to branch out into other things. Yeah, I know that, David S. I get that. Oh, but like I'm saying is it's you know, I'm trying to find a balance between IRL and So, and other material. Um, well, no, you don't need to upgrade your bedding. It's up to you, fellow pencil star, honestly. You know what you can afford to do. You need to basically look at your own budget sheet and determine the best policy, what's going to go on for your bedding. Um, you're so lucky, my friends like you, because they take a shot against me in the New York Minute. Oh, that's kind of odd. I don't really know all the side story about that, but I know that I've been feeling kind of bleh lately, health wise. Just feeling like a bleh. And last night wasn't exact. I had too much to eat last night, and I definitely was feeling it. So, and of course, it was I'm trying to find the right amount of caloric intake and trying to eat better. But last night, my body was not having it. I was like, oh, you know, I went to bed. My stomach was angry. You know, too much pizza, too much yogurt, too much, too much, too much, too much. Um, but it's getting to be summer, so I got to get ready with my summer meal plan and get back to getting outside more. It's going to be 75 here today. Not quite here. It's going to be about the same. It may not be as windy as yesterday, but it's going to be about 60 degrees today, 15 degrees Celsius. Um, Panel link, Stan. It's panel link. Panel link. It's not panel. Panel isn't going to get you anywhere. Do I need to make a canonical name for that too? Because it's panel link. I'll get you on here. Let me. PANELLINK. Panel link. Good morning, Stan. How you doing? Let me schlep my cursor over there to the panel side so I can get him on when he comes up. So I just posted the link for the panel link, Stan. Oh, right. Let me send it directly to you as a message here. Hold on. At Stan. Command V. All right. There we go. There's the link to the panel for you. I'm trying to be friends with everybody, but that's just it. I mean, the problem is sometimes it's kind of hard to do that. All right, Steve, ready to come up on there? Let's get in here. Good morning.
Good morning, Michelle. How are you?
I'm doing right. How are you?
I'm doing good. How's everybody there?
We're all holding in here. But We had a bit of an issue yesterday on the morning show, and we had a technical problem last night with the movie night.
Why is that?
Well, it turns out that the Blu-ray player or the Blu-ray media was going bad. So, so we put in Lord of the Rings, and the discs were only partially playing. And the first disc had a scratch in it, and so I put on the second movie, the Twin Towers, and it played fine at first, and then it's doing the same thing, and there's no scratches on the surface. I
Well,
look
did you play
for
another movie? Did you play another movie on this player?
the only thing I have is the Lord of the Rings triple set. I don't have any other movies right
Stan,
now.
what are you driving around in? A Lamborghini or a Mercedes or?
No,
That's a
I
nice
drive
car.
around. I'm low key, Noodles. I drive around in a RAV4, a 2021 RAV4.
Yeah.
Stan,
Yeah.
let me ask you a serious question. Do you believe for 1 second that Avoid doesn't know what's going on? Like, should Michelle be going out of her way to prove this to Avoid?
No, she shouldn't. I mean, Navoy can find her own information. You know, she's supposedly a military person, well versed in seeking things out. There's no
Told-
reason why anybody here should waste our time doing that for her. You know, she can do that herself.
Right. I told her.
I wasn't around. I kind of heard the tail end of what happened yesterday. I think Tiger Kitty wanted Avoid to come up on panel, and she wouldn't do it or something. And then I didn't catch it, but when I came back from a hearing, I saw that Tiger Kitty had left abruptly and turned her computer off. So, you know, Michelle, when you do this to your supporters, when you don't stick by them, especially somebody like Tiger Kitty, who's in charge of your Discord and who has been a long time financial supporter to you, you're going to lose these supporters, and you're going to have creeps like Bergs calling her up and getting her back over there, and she's going to be, you know, giving him some money. So, you know, you pick your poison, Michelle. You know.
Well, let me tell you what I told Avoid yesterday. I did tell her about that. I said, you have experience in the military. You know how to do reconnaissance. I said, so you should be able to find somebody who has the information, the live streams from the JNL that they deleted. Or maybe you can reach out to your legal department in your country and sue for YouTube to release those deleted streams to you. If you want to go
Well,
that,
listen. Why would she do all that? Why can't she just ask whoever's involved in this for
she could.
copies of, you
Said,
know, links of their private videos? I mean, that's all she needs to do. And then if these people are hiding them from her, then there's a problem. You know, a light bulb should go off in her head that, you know, something's not quite kosher.
well, the reason why they're
You know,
hiding,
you're going way off the deep end. You got to go this and government and this and that. YouTube is bullshit, Michelle. It's a fucking entertainment. That's all it is.
I know.
That's all it is. You're making some chump change on an entertainment platform. It's not brain surgery, okay? Don't take it so seriously. And by all means, stand by the fucking people who support you. That's all I'm trying to say here.
But Tiger Katie's not even talking to me right now, so I can't even talk to her.
Well, I don't blame her. I don't blame her. If I was her, I'd go take another trip, you know? Go cruise the Caribbean for a couple weeks and forget about all this bullshit.
I'd love to go to the Caribbean for a couple of weeks too, but unfortunately, that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah.
But so
Well, I gave you the passport application over a year ago. You didn't even go to the post office to do it, so it's not going to happen. That's true.
I don't have the 75. I don't have the $75. I
Yeah.
don't have
Oh,
$75 yet. I don't get that until the 22nd.
I offered to give you the money, Michelle, to go
Oh, you
do
did?
that. Yeah, I did.
No, we
Go
me.
take your passport photos. I was going to give you $20 to go to fucking CVS and get your passport photos, and then go to the post office, make an appointment, and get your passport. Okay? But, you don't listen. It goes
Okay.
in one ear, out the other.
Wait. Well, I understand that you could also take the passport photos yourself against a white background, which I do have. I do have a white background.
No, just go to CVS and have them take it to the size that the post office wants it. Pay the
Right.
$15 and don't be a cheap ass. Do it the right way.
Yeah.
It's very frustrating with you, Michelle, because you go off on these tangents thinking you could do something better than doing it the right way. So if I'm blunt, it's because I get frustrated with people who go off on fucking tangents and do shit fucked up.
All right. I also still gotta get that will notarized too, which I did call up the one funeral home. Apparently, one of the funeral homes in Winston is closing, and the other one uh, didn't actually have their customer or their message service sent me to a Torrington funeral home that really doesn't do with Winston or green burial because I asked them. They said they don't do green burial.
Right.
So I gotta find somebody who does.
Why don't you talk to the cemetery? What is it? The St. Joseph Cemetery or whatever, the one that homeless Mike was buried in?
Mm-hmm.
I called them previously and I asked them what the price was for a plot. And I think they said it was something like $900 or something, $875. It wasn't a lot of money by any stretch of the imagination. And so
Right.
the first thing you need to do is to get yourself a place to be put in the ground. And then you could start playing these games with this green burial. If you want to just be put in a wooden casket and put in the ground, that's a green burial. Whether
Actually,
it's in a cemetery.
a cardboard casket is green burial, not a wooden one. Although a wooden one like pine is fine. Cardboard caskets are popular.
Okay, well, let's say nobody does that. What are you going to do? Nobody
Uh,
does a fucking cardboard casket, Michelle. So unless you're putting your cat or your hamster in a fucking shoebox and bury him in the background, in the backyard, nobody does a cardboard casket, for Christ's sake.
yeah, they do. But the problem is which ones, which funeral
No,
home?
they don't. No, they don't. No. Who does a cardboard casket? Where? For
Also, you
people.
can use a pine casket too. Yeah, pine caskets are also popular. But
Casket would be something that you think we could. My point is, a pine's probably something you could get away with at this cemetery. Where you tell them I'm going to be put in a fucking cardboard box, they're going to laugh at you.
Bianca,
You understand?
they do have burial burlap sack shrouds too. Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I don't think Michelle's necessarily being wrong, but I think, like she said, is that finding the funeral home that can arrange it is kind of a problem. um, it's kind of
How
a
do I
hard thing.
put this? How do I put the forward camera on this thing? Can
You
I do that?
you see you go to settings and
Where's
then
this? Oh,
right, you go to your settings button and then you select camera and you select the rear facing camera.
video.
There you go. They're all set.
Okay.
Now let me give you some full screen so everybody can see what you're doing. So one full screen for Stan. Okay, well, it's in portrait mode, but that's okay. So you can see he's driving out. What road's this one?
This is Route 2.
Okay.
This is Route 2 in Norwich, Connecticut.
That's why I thought that sounds familiar. No, Route 2.
I'm heading away. I'm heading away from Norwich, and I'm going back to Wallingford to my office.
Okay.
So the reception when I get off of Route 2, I get onto Route 16, which is where the covered bridge is. Remember, I visited that a while back.
Yeah.
So I'm going to drive by that area, but that's kind of sketchy over there. I might drop off.
Okay, I'll try to keep an eye on it to bring it back up on new if that happens, because just like the stage door that locks behind you, I gotta get you back on the stream with that.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's all I wanted to say was that you need to take care of the people that take care of you, because Tiger Kitty's not here to fuck around with drama bullshit. If she has a bone to pick with a void, it's probably something legit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but I can't even right now. She won't even talk to me. So how am I supposed to try to talk to her about?
Well, look, Michelle. She's got a farm. She's doing her shit. She's not on YouTube constantly.
I know she's not.
I mean, she's probably walking her dog outside. It's a beautiful day today.
Yeah.
You should get outside and stream vertically like Noodles does and pick up a couple hundred subscribers along the way,
Well, I'm going to be going back out again anyway because, like I said, I did a stream yesterday that I don't think it really came out really swimmingly well. It was very windy, so there was a lot of wind in my microphone. So I probably will just redo the video. I'm not doing live streams because that's not working for me on a regular basis. I think that
all you need to do is hold your camera vertically and show your face, maybe show what's in front of you. When they do this vertical thing, if Noodles is doing it, in the afternoon, and you're watching it from your camera, from your phone camera, scroll up. Listen to me. Scroll up, and you get hundreds of other vertical streamers. A lot of them are tarot readers, Michelle.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, and if you do it that way, then you get put into that queue, and then you get people from all over the world that'll see you that are not familiar with you at all. And you say, I don't do it. I mean, well, then you're closing the door on that avenue of new subscribers. I mean, you do whatever you want to do. I'm just telling you what can work. Like Noodles' channel blew up.
I was always told the portrait mode.
What does he have? Like 7,000 subscribers now? And all he does is he drives to work and drives back from work. I mean, there's nothing sophisticated about his operation.
Okay,
but people want to see the city,
I was told portrait mode is not appropriate for live streams.
Michelle, I'm telling you, this is, for some strange reason, YouTube wants you to do this, Michelle, and they're sharing you out. I don't know why, Michelle, but they are.
Yes.
Whatever it is, Michelle, I don't care. They just are.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like it myself because, I like the I have now, but Noodles is right. If for whatever reason they're migrating their live streams into this type of format and they're promoting it, you're not recognizing that. They're doing it that way probably to compete with TikTok.
Well, there's a mode on the software to do something similar to that.
And it's no big deal. All you need to do is walk to the green and sit there for an hour and talk to people, Michelle.
Yeah.
Go get your passport photos at CVS and then show the people your photos and walk back home, or go to McDonald's and get a milkshake. Get a Shamrock shake and then do a review of it. You could do simple shit like this that doesn't cost you a lot of money, and you'll get viewers from that.
It's because YouTube is in the know that TikTok is getting banned. I have heard that, read. I don't really disagree with some of the reasoning. In fact, there was a thing even when Donald Trump was president about TikTok because they were being supported by the Chinese government.
Yeah, so the Chinese government's spying, so they're going to ban it, and they're going to take it. Google's going to take it over. Now Google and CIA is going to spy on Americans. That's what they're going to do. TikTok, as far as I know, I'm not on that shit, but they put some funny shit out there, like these divorced women, that are, bitching and moaning. I think that's funny as hell. I think that's funny as hell. 70 or 75% of all divorces are initiated by women. And then they fucking go on TikTok and bitch about how hard they have it. That's funny to me, because I've been through that fucking mill twice.
Yeah.
And so I know what I have to fucking go through to retain custody of my kids and get fucking zero for child support and work 2 jobs for fucking 30 years to make ends meet. And when I'm finally successful here and I got a good job that's paying me well, I'm enjoying myself watching the hilarity of some of the shit that it's on TikTok, but you get these channels on YouTube that aggregate that stuff and they put a funny video together. And that's funny to me. I put a link to one in my community page this morning. I have my coffee in the morning and I watch this shit and it makes me laugh. So.
Well, we know Google's been spying on people too, so they're doing the same thing that the CCP is doing.
Of course. It's been that way for a long year.
Since Google started with Gmail.
As Mick Jagger would say.
Since they're spying on you for capitalism reasons. To sell you shit. And that's what they're doing. They're trying to sell you shit. They're selling your information to other companies so they can sell you even more shit.
Yeah. And I know my phone, I have an Android phone, which is a Google phone, and I know they pick shit up,
Yeah.
Because like it's in the ads that I see on YouTube that pop up. And like I was saying something to somebody, I had my phone and I said something about mortgages. And then all of a sudden I start seeing these mortgage ads pop up.
Right.
I'm not in the market for any fucking mortgage, but it picked up me saying something, a conversation I had with somebody, and then they're directing their marketing towards that. So, of course, everybody's spying on you.
I've noticed that too.
So, I mean, that's nothing new. It's just the Chinese are doing it. They're going to stop them. They're going to ban them, and they're not going to eliminate TikTok. They're going to have Google or Facebook or one of these outfits take it over and continue with the spying.
Yeah, well, they've been doing the spying, like you said, from the very beginning.
Yeah.
But they're not doing it for the CCP. They're doing it for their own reasons to sell more products. Buyers and sellers, buyers and sellers, pimps and whores. Just like the teens didn't accept it. It's all money. To sell
Michelle,
more.
what's a fun place to go with Noodles sometime if both of you could arrange that is go up to Lake George in New York.
Yeah.
Lake George Village is fun. There's all kinds of shit to do there. There's go-karts, there's miniature golf, there's like a House of Frankenstein horror house. There's a steamboat that you can go on the lake with. There's horseback riding. There's even fucking outlet stores. You could buy shit,
Yeah, I've
It's a
heard of
nice long weekend. You could go there and have fun. Saratoga is right down the road, right down Route 9.
right.
Yeah,
You
dude,
go up
we
there
could
in
take her.
August, you can see some fucking ponies, when they have their horse races.
Good morning,
We can
Gritty.
take you to Saratoga Springs, Michelle. You could drink the water.
Yeah, go to the spas there. You go to one of those, rub the salt in your skin, and you sit there and you sweat all the toxins out, man. It's good stuff.
So Brian PC is Google owned by the NSA. I mean Facebook is definitely doing the same shit. So so who does NSA own?
National Security Agency.
Right, but who do they own? What platforms do they own?
I don't know. I'm not that into it. Red would know, maybe. Red or Brian.
Maybe they own Gaia, the platform.
Yeah,
called,
Gaia is definitely a CIA operation. Yeah,
yeah.
but you can't get too concerned with shit you can't control. They're gonna put Trump in for 4 years. That Indian guy Ramaswamy's going to be the vice president,
I've
and
heard.
then he's gonna take over for 8 years, and you're gonna see. I think you're gonna see the Democratic Party break up, along different lines. The hardcore communists. You're gonna have the moderates, and you're gonna have the liberal care.
Yeah. Well, right now, I think that what we need.
Party player for the next 12.
What we need
It's
right
all a
now.
show. It's all a show, Michelle.
I know it's all show, but I think Trump theoretically could run for 8 years again because he didn't. It wasn't.
No, he cannot. He cannot run. He's gonna number one. Even if he could, he's gonna be too fucking old.
Yeah, that's a big problem. I agree.
And so, I'm not, familiar with the constitutional language, but I think he's only limited to 2 terms, and they did that under Roosevelt. 2 consecutive or non-consecutive terms, and I might be wrong on that, but if I am, somebody correct me. But Franklin Roosevelt was elected for 4 terms.
Yes, he did.
And he died in his last term.
Right.
And that's when Harry Truman came in and dropped the bomb on Japan and ended the war.
Right.
And so as far as I know, you can only do 2 terms, either consecutively or non-consecutively. And this will be Trump's second terms. And when he gets done with that, he's going to be in his 80s. He's going to be too old anyway. You don't want a geriatric motherfucker running the country like Biden. The guy's got a fucking diaper on, for Christ's sake.
As far as Vivek Ramaswamy, I don't really like him very much.
I don't like any of them, Michelle. They're all. When you get to that level of power, you got to fucking step on people. They all do. They all throw people under the bus, And so there's nothing different about Ramaswamy from Biden or from Trump. He's one of the players.
Yeah, he is. Big business. And
you have to be a certain level of psychopath to want that much power, and you can't deny that Trump's a psychopath. He's always been a narcissistic psychopath, all about Trump.
I don't see him as a psychopath, but I do see narcissistic tendencies. Yes.
That's just his character. He's entertaining, certainly. He's funny. He's a good character to watch. He's funny when he makes fun of Biden, and this sort of thing. But it is what it is. I mean, looks like he's gonna get in for 4 years with Vivek, or with what's the other guy there? The Yale Skull and Bones guy from Florida there.
Brian PC, what other products does Alphabet make, own, or operate besides Google? Because I don't know anything of any other product line that they have. So I certainly know Amazon. I certainly know about Facebook, Microsoft. What other product lines does Alphabet own besides Google? I mean, they call themselves Alphabet, so I'm going to suspect that they have more than one product under their umbrella.
So I'm crossing the bridge. The covered bridge is on my right. We just went by it. But we already saw that, so I'm not going to stop. I got to get back to my office anyway, guys. Take care. I'll listen into the rest of the stream here.
Okay. I have two Motorola, an XT205, two DL phones. Why do you have two of them? Why would you need two of the same phone? I mean, why would you need two of the same phone? Alphabet is a technology conglomerate that owns four significant subsidiaries: Google, LLC, XXVI Holdings. Is that 24 holdings if you get in non-Roman numerals? Google Ireland Holdings and Alphabet Capital US. Three of those sound like investment programs. And I have a Motorola G Pure. By the way, right now, if you talk about the most popular phones right now selling in 2023, 5 of the top ones are Apple. The rest of them are a few Samsungs and a few other brands below Apple. I didn't come up with a number out of my ass. That actually was stated in a news article on a video that you can actually watch in my news section. That Apple is, of course, dominating the market. It's just like the situation where VHS versus Betamax in the 1980s. Same deal. Okay, Apple, however, is different in the sense where VHS, which is created by JVC, was open sourced, where Apple basically, like the Betamax, was proprietary. In the case of the Betamax wars, because it was proprietary with high licensing fees, there were very few companies were making Betamax VCRs.
2 seconds.
Yeah, go ahead, Noodles.
Michelle, I'm gonna eat my lunch, okay?
Okay.
Lunch just got here, so I'm just gonna finish up what I'm doing, and then if you're still around, I'll come back up, all right?
Yeah, that's okay.
All right, Michelle, I'll talk to you later. Bye.
So what happened is that for those of you who, a lot of you guys are older people, so you probably know this about the format wars between VHS and Betamax. Apple lost out on. Beta lost out on market share because Sony wanted to keep it proprietary with high licensing costs. Whereas GVC, when they created VHS, was going to open source the license to people for companies to create their own VCRs. So to see the situation with the cell phones being reversed is kind of laughable. on one level, but as an Apple user, I guess I'm not surprised because the closed source would still be a thing. Even though realistically, open source really would make more sense. 3 times and it's still too short. Okay. Prime PC said Alphabet with sales of $137 billion, a profit of $30.7 billion, and a market value of $863.3 billion. Alphabet ranks the 17th among the world's largest companies. But this fluctuates. Where's BlackRock, Brian PC in the numbers? Where's Evergrande and BlackRock? Evergrande is a Chinese real estate company versus BlackRock, which is, to my knowledge, is still based in the United States. If I made a VCR, if there was a reason to make one to this day and age, I'll be honest, if we had watched a VHS version of The Lord of the Rings, we probably wouldn't have had video getting stuck and skipping. It would have just been little sparklies on the video head, but I digress. Anyway, because they did have digital VHS or DVHS, which was something that came out right before Blu-ray. And like I said, JVC licensed the VHS format for pretty much open source. Licensing was much less costly than Sony, which, like Apple, wanted to have exclusivity control over everything from the playheads to the components. It made cost of entry for manufacturers are making Betamax VCRs and Betacam and Beta SP players a bit much. So that's why the Sony Betamax players didn't sell. They were too expensive. Noodle, okay. If Evergrande is based in multiple countries, as is BlackRock. Okay. Where in the market share is Evergrande and BlackRock, as far as you know? BlackRock is in so many different areas besides real estate. They are in marketing, management, financing, just a lot of different things. No, maybe no one would steal your VCR, but I mean, like I said, no one would steal your Blu-ray player either. Not now. Maybe when they were the new wave thing, yeah, they probably would have at one point. But speaking of optical discs, have you seen about the new discs that they're coming up with? Never mind the formats, get so confusing. All the different things they're talking about that can store a petabyte on a standard DVD size disc of material using a new die system that can store a petabyte, and you can have 100 layers on the disc. Now, I'm not an engineer. I don't know anything about the chemicals in use. One channel went through and described them in detail. I didn't understand a word she was talking about. Even to me, it sounded like a bunch of gobbledygook. I was like, what? This material is called what? What does it do? Fluorescence? Wait a minute. What? What is a fluorescence? What? Okay. I using 2 different layers to read a substrate to store 100 or to store 1 petabyte per layer, up to 100 layers on the disk. I mean, I don't know. Petabyte. Now, imagine if you sent one of those disks to Google and you said, export all my video to this media, please. Because you can use the export command, but honestly, my Google Drive is too small to hold everything. And the way the export tool works, you can't say extract videos from so and so to so and so period of time. So all it means is all or nothing, unless they change the export to allow you to go by certain dates. Because if they did, I definitely want to use the export tool. But the problem is, I don't have a fiber link and enough data bandwidth to download hundreds of thousands of gigabytes of data. Nobody with petabyte. Good morning to you, Parasolo. Yes, I know. It's 1,000 terabytes. 1,000 terabytes. I can't even wrap my head around that. Never mind, I have computers with 2 terabyte hard drives. Never mind, 1,000 terabytes. Yeah. I'm going to go outside, guys. We are going to go outside today. I already said that. That was the whole point, because I want to redo yesterday's video, because yesterday's video was a piece of crap. Well, it wasn't really bad. It was just kind of rushed into. It was, you gotta clean the phone out, clear out the junk in your phone. Yes. Recents. Did you back these up? Yeah. You're gonna synchronize your phone, places, videos. Got a lot of videos here. Oh, that's just it. Speaking of videos, guys, I got more videos than I have places to store them. Even my Apple Cloud is full. I mean, so I got pictures and video clips and things that I can't store anywhere because I'm out of room. Yeah, it is. Well, I did some shopping yesterday, so I don't need to go out and do shopping. But I mean, for those of you who wanted to see something about what I talked about yesterday, here's a little bit about the video I did yesterday. I'm outside. I know I didn't get a Saturday. It's got a nice cream instead. So I managed to get my Blu-ray DVD player hooked up to my computer, and okay, Michelle, that's enough. Yeah. So, and you can hear some of the background noise, and so I'm gonna do is clear out some of the memory on my phone. I I might be able to drop this phone link into the iPhotos, which I'll probably do later. But I don't want to lose any of my video clips either. Need the device to. I am outside. You may well need device storage. Exactly. Um, let's talk about that because I'm thinking of. I know everybody likes SSDs, and I do think they're okay. Unfortunately, we know that SSDs at this point can only have so many write cycles before they are um, considered useless. That's kind of keeping it simple. I don't know how many write cycles you get in NAND flash, but my my power my Mac Mini uses as an SSD, so I'm thinking about getting like a 2 terabyte hard drive and copy the operating system and all the files over to a hard drive and boot off the hard drive instead of the SSD to protect the SSD from damage. Because the swap partition is hardly used, but when it does get used, I'm concerned that one day we're going to start getting errors. I specifically keep my SSD on my Mac Mini and only half full, so that there is room for the system to do wear leveling. But I think that having a physical hard drive might be a better choice for a lot of writes. I know that for my Final Cut Pro work, I do it on hard drive. I don't do it on the SSD. But my SSD is getting, or my hard drive's getting kind of full. I only have a 500 gigabyte, so I was thinking about getting, as I said, 2 terabyte. Right. As long as the drive is formatted for Apple, it will store stuff for you. Right. Which in this case would be EPFS, yes, or HPFS Plus. If you want to boot up a external drive on a Mac, on the Apple Silicon, and some of the very latest Intel Macs, it has to be an EPFS. For Ventura and Sonoma, if you so for that reason, the drive has to be an EPFS. So, but I want to have it in 2 partitions. The only reason is that would be, well, maybe it's not much of a real benefit anymore, but it used to be. Um, because I'm going to do it the original way the partition maps were done. I don't know if that's really so much of an issue anymore about allocation units. 6 terabyte external drive. Yeah. So we talked about me and Lumi were talking about this getting, because I've got a regular standard USB 2.0 enclosures that have SATA, which would still be slow as molasses at 480 megabits per second to store files on. But I was thinking is that get a 2 to 4 terabyte 3.5-inch drive in one of my external cases, and then I could also easily schlep it from machine to machine. For example, the Final Cut Pro on the 2009 Mac is not a Mac Pro is not the same version as the Final Cut Pro on the 2009 M1 Mac Mini, and so they're not compatible in databases. And so, like, if I unless I can find a way to get the newest Mac Pro to work on Catalina, which may not work. Okay, I'll just leave it at that. Yeah. Yeah, but I'm really kind of uncomfortable with the SSD thing. I do know that Seagate was experimenting with something similar to an M.2, but was actually a hard drive with the same kind of feature set that it would plug in with a little M.2 adapter, and basically was an NVMe drive with 4-channel support for 4 read write cycles at the same time. I don't think it ever came out to market though. So I can get standard hard drives cheap. I got 2 terabyte. I got two. It's in 2 discs. 2 terabyte SSDs. The problem is they're full. They have files on them. They're backup operating systems, and I think it would be trying to have a backup for media on the internet, because I don't really trust the internet. Everybody likes the cloud so much, but as Microsoft demonstrated with the United States Department of Defense, which had licensed contract from Microsoft to provide cloud services to their networks, including something called Oshkosh, whatever that is. And some nefarious bad people got in executive passwords and stuff, and the military is like now trying to re-secure the platform after Microsoft warned them that somebody had broken into the security system. Yeah. I mean, the mechanical hard drives had gotten cheap enough that you could easily get, you know, but we know that, of course, actual solid state stuff is cheaper because there's no moving parts. Who does? 16 terabyte hard drives for $25. Now, I don't. Was that on Etsy or Temu? Be careful with Temu and Etsy because they're not really. Did I say I don't like those kind of clouds? It's a different kind of cloud. Because obviously the reasons is because somebody else is controlling your data. What happens if the company decides to go bankrupt or closes the service down? Do you have any way to realistically get all your files off? We were talking about earlier about the Google export command. If I wanted to export all my YouTube videos using export, it would take me weeks. Weeks. Even if I had high speed fiber. Um there's no way I could back it up in a realistic period of time. Even if I had 2 gigabytes per second, I couldn't back up all my videos. I'd export, and my export petition's not exactly huge. It's something like what is that? Like 2 to 5 terabytes, something like that. So how would Michele download all those videos while still streaming on YouTube? It's like trying to empty the ocean with a teaspoon. She'll never get all the files out. No, let me get them out. They'll be like, I'll just have to shut down streaming for a couple of weeks. White paper storage with an external drive does it in hours. So with a cheap piece of like a Mac. Exactly. And of course, there's another advantage is since it's your physical volume, you know it's yours. You know you don't have to worry about somebody, like I said, like a cloud server closing down and then find out like you're totally SOL. Right. Exactly. So, and that is a valid issue. Who is that, Noodles? Who is Polio Paul? I don't know who that is. I mean, I don't know who Polio Paul is. Is he the guy that was in the iron lung almost all of his life? Okay, right, all right, that's the one I thought. Okay, still a long time. Iron lung is a pretty interesting apparatus. I'll tell you that. Well, and then of course, we all know that we're talking about PCs, and I was saying to people here, I don't have any of these on my wish list because I don't think anyone would ever. I can't get people to even invest in the one thing that's my wish list for 300. So I don't think a PC is ever going to be a big deal either. But some people pointed me out is that because of the way Apple is, that maybe you should consider getting one of those little miniature PCs, like a PC version of the Mini, that runs Microsoft products, so you can play under Windows 10 and Windows 11, some of the games and stuff. Because we got the KVM that you sent me, so I could plug that in. We could have two equivalent of a PC Mac Mini and a Mac Mini on this desk so that we could jump between the two so we can play World of Warcraft. Yeah. Yeah. I could never imagine being stuck in an iron lung for 72 years. I really can't. I cannot visualize that. Yeah. And that was Dr. Salk who created polio vaccine. And that was a big deal. No, Carolyn, she hasn't gotten back to me yet. Maybe PC can reach out to Tiger Kitty too. 4 TB for Mac portable. Okay. Is that a hard drive or is that an SSD? Yeah. Despite something like this, the Western Digital 4 terabyte my passport for Mac portable. Well, it says HDD, so I would suspect that means hard disk drive. With USB 3.0 with software for device management and backup and password protection. Yeah, well, you got time machine on the Mac is still a thing. You got Carbon Copy Cloner, which is a third party product to back up my hard drives. Yeah, I'm looking into it. Like I said, I got some external cases. If I have to, I can just drop get myself a 3.5-inch hard drive, 2 to 4 terabytes, Western Digital blue or black, and then upgrade eventually, get it upgrading closer to USB 3.0 or 3.1. Yep, that's the system I was talking about, Noodles, that's coming this way. Around the 19th of March. So yeah, that's the snow system I was talking about. Well, that's what I got right now. I got one 500 gigabyte hard drive right now. And if you remember, I think you were the one that bought it and the case. You already had the drive. That's right, I had the drive already, but I didn't have the case. You bought the case. I remember that. Okay. Um. Well, I get paid on the 22nd, so we'll have to see what happens. Well, let's get into some news real quick, since obviously we'll start with the It's not really much bulletins. Let's just go to the real quick here to the news section. One of the problems when you have a channel that covers such a large area, some of the news articles don't really resonate with everybody. Gotta find it. Here we go. So let's go to Fox News real quick here. Let's pull out some of the headlines here. Judge dismisses some charges against Trump in Fannie Willis election case, but others counts remain. City's racial equity official says she wants U.S. to burn to the ground. That really sounds supportive. Judge rules in Trump's $92 million bond in New York defamation case. That's not the Letitia James story. This is something completely different. Star Wars child actor in mental health facility after psychotic break. Rocket explodes seconds after launch, raining fire down onto the launch pad. Carnival sideshow. Hunter Biden refuses to attend House hearing with former business associates. Trying to silence me, CNN forced to correct story after accusations of smear campaign against Katie Britt. I don't even know who she is. Hit rock bottom. Princess Diana's brother lifts the lid on devastating family secret. Rocky Road exclusive. Janet Yellen warns inflation decline might not be smooth. Janet Yellen, if deflation is, we can get something good at getting inflation to drop. This one does sort of interest me, so let me go to this real quick here. This is from Fox Business. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said Wednesday that inflation could face a bumpy return to normal At the back-to-back reports showing that price pressures within the U.S. economy rebounded at the start of the year. In a sit-down interview with Fox Business, Edward Lawrence, Yellen pushed back against stagflation concerns and maintained that progress on inflation has not stalled. Yeah, right. I would not. I would not expect this to be a smooth path, month to month, but the trend is clearly favorable, she said. That said, President Biden's top priority is addressing the issue of high costs that concern so many Americans. First of all, if Joe Biden really was concerned about the average American, he would be honest about talking about his so-called Biden economics thing. All he's doing is biding his time, looking for finding solutions to a problem that he does not know how to solve. Let me see. Put on your wish list. Okay. What, the drive or the drive? Okay. And use SSD uses less power. Yes, they do. Yeah, SSDs use less power. But the question is do you want to go with 3D NAND? Is 3D NAND going to be able to survive constantly getting written to when you're doing something like Final Cut Express? Or would it be better to use the hard drive because of the constant read and writes associated with video editing? Well, I agree. The external power supply thing and not needing one could be a nice asset. Dollar Tree's forced to close 1,000 Family Dollar stores amid inflation crunch. So Family Dollar itself still exists. But we have a Dollar Tree that was a Family Dollar and became Dollar Tree. All right. I'll give. Also, we need a DVD burner too because we lost our last one on the M2009 Mac Pro. The wore out, and it was a super drive. But I want to get a new one anyway. One that ideally supports USB-C. So I can plug it into this computer or my cell phone and things as well. Okay. Do we have suggestions how to solve the problems that the current administration is? Well, first of all, their typical solution is to raise interest rates. But the problem is when you're raising interest rates, everything gets more expensive. And it's supposedly is trying to curb inflation. But that doesn't curb inflation because everybody needs more money to pay for the more expensive stuff that they're buying because the high interest rates are too high. On top of that, the administration, and this is true with all governments, especially new ones with fiat currencies, are spending money more than they make, and they come in with revenue. So, first of all, the government has to stop blowing money they don't and keep having to borrowing from other countries. And second of all is they got to stop raising interest rates. because it's costing more for people to pay for the items that they have. So I think that the interest rate should stay the same, or maybe even right now, given what they're so high, that the Federal Reserve should reduce them a bit, which allows people to actually be able to start paying off the debts. Conversely, the government itself needs to do the same thing. It needs to stop financing programs that it cannot afford. If I was the president of the United States and if I was able to get Congress to at least listen to common sense, the first thing I would tell them is this, and I certainly would tell this to Janet Yellen as well, and say, look, lower the interest rate, okay, because it's not helping. You want people to save money in the bank, that's wonderful. The saving is important. But you guys want to focus on spending. The problem is that we can't afford to keep spending like that anymore. As far as all the programs that the illegals want, I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, but the illegals can go home because there's no money for this. I used to have one on my 2009 Mac Pro before it broke. I mean, how can people know what or how to help you out if they can't buy it off their wish list? I didn't think anybody. See, here's what it was, Brian. People, right now haven't really been buying much at all on the wish list. The wish list has become as popular as DVDs. No one really is looking at my wish list anymore. They stopped looking at it. I've been updating it as I can, and I can't even get inexpensive stuff on the wish list to even be considered. For example, for Lumi's wig, we have a need for a foam wig head so that we can put her wig in a safe place so it won't get destroyed. She can't. It's on the wish list. It's like a $5 foam head, and no one's even buying that. If people are not buying, what's the point? That's what it came down to. Yes, get the wish list up there, bot tricks. It has been updated. A lot of the electronic stuff needs have been met. Now we're getting into things that are not even electronics in there. And they're inexpensive stuff. They're not expensive stuff. Like I said, people are just not looking at the wish list anymore. They're giving up on it. And then everybody calls me an e-beggar and say, oh, you shouldn't be talking about wish lists or donations. Let's talk about that. Oh, God, let's not. No, then we have to. First of all, I don't know exactly why people call people on YouTubers that have a donations link an e-beggar. We're not e-begging. I'm not even talking about donations right now. I don't even have a heavy donations thing. But the sad truth is, like everybody else, we're all struggling too. And so I try really hard not to get under people's skin about the donations link. Is that satisfactory? That's fine. You know, I'll add some more stuff to the wish list anyway. And I'm hoping Tiger Kitty will get back to me soon because Brian PC maybe know how to reach out to her. I'm trying to get her to come back and talk to me about the latest information that is being brought up off camera. And That's all I'm gonna say right now because I don't know when she's coming back. I miss her being on the morning show. I miss her talking to me. We haven't really had anyone here. Noodles was on here today. Stan was on here today. Um, Even Rusty's outside right now. Rusty has been a little bit under the. Seems like he's a little bit under the weather every so often. He pukes up his breakfast. Um, I'm not. I think he's eating too much. Maybe the dry cat food is getting to be a little bit too hard for his age, for his teeth. Probably. Yeah, I know they will donate. Don't worry about that. So, um, I think don't worry about it, Michelle. I think you'll be fine. But it's 12:43. You got 16 viewers on, which is pretty good. You've been streaming for 2 hours 7 minutes. Yeah, I'm sorry I was late this morning, guys. As I said, I got one kind of in between those in between states this morning when I got up, and my brain was in one world and my body was in another world, and I was like kind of dazed and confused. Um, we could try, but I don't know what soft food he likes. I know tender victuals is highly regarded. Um, because I had cats that used to eat tender victuals. Canned food is ridiculously expensive. I can't afford to buy canned food. Um, okay. Panels. Oh, Noodles. Let me give you the link for the panel. I do have it here. I'm gonna get ready to wrap it up anyway soon. So, oh man, and there you go. Oh, I gave him the wrong link. No, you gave him the right link, Michelle. Okay, I just gave Noodles the link. I just gave it to him directly. Or we could see about getting a. Well, that's what I was thinking, because he is a senior kitty. Yeah. Yeah, I think he's definitely needs something for older cat. But the first thing is to make sure it's a food that he's going to actually enjoy. I definitely think that would help a lot. So Krista, when do you want to go to the store next time to look into that? We don't have to go anywhere majorly expensive. Maybe Friday, Saturday, or next week or something. By the way, we're 2 subs short of 100 subs on Kick. No, so you have the link. I just sent it to you. You have it. I can give you. You can give me the money, and I can go to the store. I usually buy Meow Mix. Meow Mix. Um, I don't know if they have a senior formula. They might. But if we're going to try any other brands, I would definitely buy a small sampler and see if Rusty would like that. Because I don't think we should be buying huge bags of cat food, especially if it's going to sit there. My mom gave me some kitten caboodle. Rusty does not like it. Okay, I think that sounds fine. So you get paid? Friday will be the 15th. You don't get paid until the 22nd. Yeah, I got a little bit of money loan cash in my PayPal. I gave you the one that I just gave you. It's the right link. Yes, it's the right link. That's when I copied it when they started the show and posted on the thing this morning. That's the link right there, guys. Cats when they eat grass, it's because they use it as a way to induce vomiting, particularly if something's irritating their stomach. I don't know about bugs, but I know he does hunt outside too. Um, no, he doesn't. Yeah, I give you an eye on him. He's still active and perky and stuff. It's not like he's acting any bizarre or anything. He's still actively going out. He's still doing outdoor stuff, indoor stuff. But I could definitely wonder if maybe it's just a something where maybe he ate too much. Something I've done plenty of times, but I don't go bleh all over the floor. You know. So yes, Noodles, that is the panel link I gave you earlier. I'm going to ask my other friend what she gives her senior cat, the cat food. Yeah, well, I want to try. I want to get some samplers. I mean, some people like Hill Science Diet, um, Senior Formula, and stuff, which also has diet formulated for older cats, urinary pH, which could be good for Rusty. I had that noodles. I think I refished. Try that. Well, I'm looking to see if he's coming up on the side chat. He's not here. And I actually verified that it's the same link as yesterday and the day before and the day before that. It's regenerating the same link. They do. But the problem is that not, especially male cats, do not do good with seafood, particularly because of things like urinary tract issues that can develop with certain types of uh, minerals that are in the tuna or in other fish. I don't need a cat to have a urinary tract infection on top of everything else, you know. I already sent here. I wish I could verify this. Well, just go ahead. Just copy the link again. All right, Noodles. I'll copy the link to you again right from the software. But I bet that I've seen this. I tested this empirically. That if you go to this, let me just pull this up on the screen because Stan used the panel link and work too, right? So this should be working fine. This is the same link that I already posted. Okay, now he's coming up now. Okay, hold on a minute, please. I gotta get over to that side of the screen. Oh, you were just here! Okay, there you go. No, you were right here. Why did you log out twice, then log back in twice? Brian PC wants to come on. Go ahead, Brian PC.
Hey, Michelle, how are you doing?
I'm doing right. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. I was just watching the stream there, and I was just wanting to come on and say hello to you because I've not spoken to you for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. Noodles. Yeah, I that last link I got in on that Noodles. Is that so? That might work. 'Cause I was trying it as well, and I couldn't get on either. So that bottom link in the chat on YouTube chat, I was able to get in on that.
So, what do you think about this software versus the other software that we're using in the past?
I'm not sure, Michelle, because I've been so busy and doing lots of different things that I've not had time to catch up with much of the things that have been going on the show recently.
Because we were using Google Hangouts in the past, and
yeah,
we're using something new now, which is like StreamYards, because Restream licensed StreamYards for their own product line.
all right.
So,
yeah.
So I will update the wish list again.
Yeah, the issue with that, Michelle, the issue that I'm having is when I look at the wish list, there's things on it that I'm not able to buy. I'm unable to purchase them.
Right. I know that. Some people said
Yeah.
that to me, but again, I don't know.
So what I'm going to suggest is what I suggested before was if you just check it once a week, just to make sure that those things aren't not for sale anymore.
Also, what I would also
yeah.
maybe do is because you're across the pond, maybe that's part of the problem too.
No, it's not it. The actual items aren't available. So it's just a like once a week, maybe go on, or whenever you've got some time, just go on and check that those particular items that they are available.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it, I think.
I mean, how do I know when something is not available? Because sometimes it does say pretty clearly not available. Is it when you see more options? Does that mean it's not available?
No, there's no option to buy it.
Right. If there's no option to buy it, then that's obviously not available.
Yeah. So it's like it's maybe been sold out, or that seller has sold all of its items, so it's unavailable at that time that people click on it.
By the way, what do you think of that little solar or that little the Blue Eddy power thingy that's on the wish list for 300?
I think that's a great price if you need it. But I'm not an expert on it. I've got a friend who is good, but I don't see them often. Who's really good with that kind of thing.
The whole idea was it also provides actually, which will work pretty well for the Mac Mini because it sips electricity, is that you could basically bring your LEDs and your desks to the studio would keep burning even during the short power failures we have here. And it also supports the UPS mode so that it will just basically kick over to the UPS mode if power goes down.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
because it's designed to provide a little more power, it also has hookups for a solar panel input. So you could actually plug a panel into the side of it instead of being just strictly stuck on the mains like an American Power Conversion APC or Smart Ups. This will actually be able to charge from the sun.
All right. So solar. Well, if you get a lot of sun across there, there's something that
I
I've
got a
got.
lot of sun in the afternoon in the spring and
Yeah.
summer. Yeah,
Yeah. Well, you know those. It's like a charging pack, but you open it. I think here they're about 25, 30 pounds. So I don't know what that is in dollars. But you open it up and it's got 4 little panels where you can charge up your phones with it. You know, when it's fully charged up, you could probably charge up your phone and like a Mac Mini or something with it.
well,
Um,
this can charge the phone too. Yeah,
yeah, it
it
probably
puts
holds
like
about that much.
285 watts of continuous power available.
Yeah,
Which is fine for the Mac Mini, but I wouldn't want to use it for the 2009 Mac Pro. Probably wouldn't even be able to run it. It would probably blow a fuse if you're trying to power the 2009 Mac Pro on it, which draws 1,000 watts.
yeah. I forget. I've actually got it in my hand, Michelle. It's got a little light on it. It's an orange thing. It's black basically with an orange outline on it.
Yeah,
It's made in China or Taiwan, somewhere like that.
yeah,
And well, we get them on Amazon, and you just literally put it in front of the window and let it power up. You know, during the afternoon or whatever.
yeah. I had a cell phone charger like that.
Yeah, I mean they're fantastic. You know, and also you can press a button and the light goes on
But the problem is again,
and it goes
remember
out.
we're talking about if there's a power failure and you haven't backed up your live, and all of a sudden the power goes out, you want to at least be able to shut the computer down. Um, so this would allow you to keep going until you end your stream, and then you can
Yeah,
go ahead and shut the computer down safely to make sure your files are written to disk and all buffers are cached, all cakes are flushed out. Because
yeah,
otherwise, you don't want to have the computer just getting a broken nerve pinch right in the middle of the live stream, because it leaves the hard drive in a pretty unwelcome state.
yeah. I wouldn't worry about it though. It's not that particular because the battery inside these things won't break it. They'll power it down enough to they won't damage it. If a sudden cut off to certain things will damage them, but not a Mac or a laptop. Not really. You know, like
Yeah,
an overvolt might, but not an undervolt. You know, usually you'll undervolt things to overclock them, to to make them power up better, or to get more performance out of something. You'll undervolt it on a computer, but that won't damage the parts. I mean, it'll only fry something if there's too much power going through
yeah,
the
but we should
traces
remember
inside
that
it.
we're talking about storage, though. You know,
Well, we're
the
talking about
whether
many
it's
things, aren't
SSD
we?
or HD,
Yeah,
when
we're
the
talking about
file isn't finished writing and you shut the computer off at the wrong time, you're going to have half of a file, or the file system may be corrupted.
yeah, yeah. Well,
So I'm saying it's best to have a better
well,
UPS to at least give the computer a chance to clear out its cake and do a proper
yeah.
shutdown than it is to just basically
So
just
you're looking for something to have as a spare NAS or a drive as well, aren't you?
I'm looking for a spare drive, either a second, like a 2 terabyte,
Yeah,
um, 2.5 inch or 3.5 inch
yeah,
SATA drive.
yeah. You know what I do, Michelle? I mean, I have lots and lots of little drives like that around, and what I do is I'll buy a 1 terabyte one for $30 from China, right, or $40 from China, like a good one of the better brands with the right chips inside it. I forget what it is offhand, and then I'll buy a little
And this is
enclosure.
pretty well respected.
Yeah, so I'll buy a little external drive for like $5, right? Amazon, and I'll just put those onto those drives. So they all kind of match, or you can buy one that's slightly different, different
I looked
design.
into the
Yeah,
Western Digital line of
yeah.
1 terabytes at
I
one
find
time.
I find them overpriced, Western Digital.
That's what I mean. That's
Yeah,
what I'm at. It was like
yeah,
originally when I got them, the two I bought, they were like $40 each, and like when there was a
yeah,
chip shortage because of the big C, the stupid drives went up individually went up to $65-$70 each.
yeah. A lot of things have gone up in price, as we know, and that's not going to stop anytime soon. I
Ah,
don't think, because of the current climate, with what's going on around the place. But the if you want to save a few bucks, the way to go is get yourself something the same size as, like, maybe your hard drive, like a 1 terabyte or 500 gig,
right.
and put it in one of those cheap enclosures. It doesn't have to be an expensive enclosure, because
What do you think?
the
What do you
electronics
think
inside
about
it.
the idea of you? I do this once in a while, but I never tried this with SSDs. What do you think about buying used SSDs? I've never bought used SSDs. I bought
Yeah,
refurbished used hard drives without a problem.
well, there's not really much difference in price between used and new. So you're probably better off with new, because you'll have the 1 year manufacturer warranty with it. So
Right.
that'll tide you over.
You're going to have a very low PE situation cycle. Where
Y-
used one, you might be like getting a drive that was near the end of its life, and then all of a
Yeah,
sudden,
yeah. I mean, it's not worth it. Yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, that
Hard drives don't normally have to do with the issue of P to E PE, but
yeah,
course, you do have
that's
mechanical issues to deal with platters and heads and stepper motors and lubrication.
right. So for anyone that doesn't understand what's being spoken about here, when you have when things written over, like data is written over on your hard drive on your computer, what that means is, a hard drive, the chips inside it, they have so long of a life cycle, they can be written over so many times. So
We're
what
talking about
that
the SSDs, not the hard
yeah,
drives,
yeah,
or
yeah,
even
yeah,
hybrid
yeah,
hard drives. Which
yeah, yeah. So what happens is, some of them, they have cheaper chips or different types of chips. Like, you have TLC, you have different. They basically got different names, and some of them are made to last a long time, and some of them are made to last a short time, or so many cycles, and that's like P cycles. That's
right?
what it means.
I
But
mean,
I would not be too pedantic or particular about that. Just if you want something for storage, it's not something that you're going to be running all the time, so that's fine for storage.
but to see, it's like everything else now. Apple's using an SSD in their devices now as the main storage volume for the computer. Even the virtual memory is being written to SSD. Now I don't know if they're using that area of RAM as a SLC emulation or not. So obviously you can visualize why that's me important
Uh, on
because
on storage, it's not so important, because it's how you format the drive, no matter what type of drive it is. It's the format that's important.
right, in the case of
Yeah,
Apple, it's APFS. Yeah, so
right.
it's the format they offer for SSDs. Um, and so again, I don't have any control over that, but I've heard that they might be using SLC emulation for the virtual space. Um,
Yeah, I'm not really that bothered about all that stuff, to be fair, because the when you're storing stuff, it really does not matter that much if it's just for storage. If you're pulling it in and out a lot of files, if you're pulling files in and out all the time, then it matters. Then you probably want to have that connected inside your computer if you're doing
yeah,
it that often. Yeah, but just for a transfer data rate, it's a normal, not a hard drive, but an
Well,
SSD
even if
will
you
drive is
just
fine.
opening and closing an existing file, that still counts as PE write cycles.
Yeah, but
So,
it's not if it's for storage, you're really just storing it. So all those files that you're taking and you're transferring out of your machine,
right,
all
files that are just sitting there
all
is
the
read only, or pretty much read only, are not the
all
problem.
the I just need to finish this, Michelle. All the new right, you have space on the hard drive you're using, so all the new stuff will be inside your machine, not inside the storage. Once you've made it on your computer, then you've transferred it to your storage, right? Then that PE cycles will happen again on the same drive inside your machine, not on the storage, right? Because you're storing the extra data from your machine. It's so many cycles, you're not going to break it, and usually within 5 years, and some of them are lasting uh, 15, 20 years,
Right.
for SSD storage.
But right now we know that SSDs, especially on the Apple line
Yeah, it's more likely going to
computers,
be Michelle. Just to finish that off, it's more than likely going to be a physical break where someone's bent, broken, or damaged something, other than just a write and cycle thing.
right?
Anyway, sorry to cut you off there, but it's just to finish that kind of thought on that. Okay.
Yeah. Well, either way, I still pretty much, feel that for long term, the mechanical hard drive might be the way to go. But I still think I don't know what SSDs are sitting storage. I got a thumb drive that's an SSD that has not been plugged in for years, and it's still in my drawer. And to my knowledge, it's still readable. It hasn't been used in years. It's a 512 megabyte. Believe it's a TLC USB thumb drive. So the question is how long is the data retention? Because it is basically storage is almost like in the form of a capacitive charge. And I can't seem to find out anybody who can really give me a clear idea how long does the capacitive charge stay on the thumb drive that hasn't been used in several years. So, wonder where we're going with technology now. VW64 Mini RD said a quick dissertation on restoring directory on an old hard drives that were once Windows 2000K. Somehow these drives get corrupt. Partition Magic sees data that doesn't know what it is. That happens. Um, it does happen, unfortunately. Also, you got hard drives that have mechanical problems that start to develop, like stiction, where the heads tend to get stuck to the platters, and depending on um, the era in mind, Western Digital, since the days of the Barracudas, um, had, and I believe also, yeah, the Barracudas definitely did have the stiction problem, as did the old CK238s, ST506412s. That sometimes you got to be kind of uh,
Yeah.
need to give serious oomph to get those heads off that platter so the drive can spin up.
Well, yeah.
I don't know if they've actually improved that or not.
Well, it's not. I don't think that so much that it's an issue unsticking the heads off a drive, pretty much like lifting a needle off a record uh, or a vinyl.
Yeah.
It's just some firm kind of grip. You take the top off, your Torx screwdriver, and you just basically turn it. You hold it, you turn it, and it should move. You just be firm but gentle with it, and it should move. And that's how you unstick heads, and then put the cover straight back on again. But that's something you'd want to do in a clean environment. And then you can take all the data off it. Obviously, there's going to be issues with it because swapping the if you're going to have issues with that or something some part of it, like
And
there's
also, like
there's
you
a lot of
saw,
code in it.
Electric was running into with his quantum pinch drives on his Centurion mini computer is sometimes you got an issue with lubrication. The bearings
Yeah,
will dry out. They are going to dry out. They're going to start squealing and screaming, and they're going to start getting stiff and stuck, and you're not going to be able to get them to go very easily. He had a hard time getting that quantum pinch drive to be operable. To the point where he had no choice at one point to fix one of the drives. He had to actually take off the plastic shroud where the actual platters are. Even in the class 100 clean room, just his studio with all the dust vacuumed up to try to free the heads and get the actuator working correctly because it was just stuck. It wasn't moving.
yeah.
Now I don't know if the Finch drive uses the ST506 412 interface. It looks like it's using a 50-pin connector because it's an 8-inch drive with the 20-pin.
That data, you would get that from a data recovery specialist. They might be able
Yeah,
to help you with that. You could call them up and ask them, and that's someone who would be dealing with data recovery that would deal with that issue, that particular issue. And if a specialist had a minute to speak to you,
yeah, it would
oh,
be best. He
yeah,
didn't have a choice because he had to do it
oh yeah,
himself and
yeah,
take a chance. But I agree with you. Especially with modern new drives with the storage densities of them today. Um, well, he was lucky with the Finch drive when the 20 megabytes. I wouldn't do that with the whole 30 gigabytes, even on an 8-inch platter. You're likely to a single piece of dust get into that thing. Like he also had these disk packs, and he had a head crash on his disk packs on that same system, and it basically gouged the disc pack
yeah,
platter like you would not believe, because it didn't properly evacuate the air in the disc pack when it started.
yeah. I tend to deal with more modern computers rather than the older
Right,
tech because it just seems to function better in a lot of different ways. Apart from some of the industrial stuff or what the professional stuff
right,
uh, that most people don't use or know about, which is a completely
right.
different price bracket.
He's developed a real love for his Centurion mini computers, and
Yeah,
it's I certainly I had an ST 1004 a Sugar SA 1004 8-inch drive, but I didn't have the data separator board for it, and it was an 8-inch, and the thing was only like 10 gigabyte or 10 megabytes. And I never got a chance to power it up, but just looking at I never opened it up either. But to actually wire it up to ST506 412 interface MFM controller, I don't know if I needed a Z separator board or not because it looked like the manual said I did.
yeah,
And then also I needed to have to realize you needed 24 volts at about 8 amps just to get the thing to spin up.
yeah.
Where am I going to get 24 volts at 8 amps when I looked through the JMCO catalog and I couldn't
Well,
even find the 24-volt power supply that I
all
could
right.
afford
Yeah,
and
you
move
do
around
get
with?
them. You do get them, or you could
You
use a
can
truck
get them,
battery,
yeah.
a truck or motorhome a battery cell from a.
But the problem is when you
Yeah,
want a fixed income and you're still in high school, you're not going to go
yeah,
and
yeah.
buying these expensive add-ons.
Yeah,
When you
or
start
run.
getting into the vintage computer gear, your price tags go up big time, especially for parts.
Yeah, yeah, it's amazing.
And the funky Molex connectors for the
Right.
8-inch connector for the power was like, oh my god.
Yeah, I've got a bunch of them lying around that they're still in the packet that I'm never going to use them, but I know there'll be someone somewhere is going to need them, so they're all sealed up in the packet. I'm sure eventually, in 50 years from now, or
Yeah.
maybe 1,000 years from now, they'll find it buried somewhere. You know, like, look at this is what people
What
used
that's
to
how about
use.
something a little more contemporary right now? As you know, I got my new iPhone 15. In America, it uses an eSIM only. It doesn't have a SIM slot. And I'm trying to find out is what is the pros and cons of the eSIM versus the physical SIM chip.
Oh, you've lost me there. I mean, what are you actually talking about? What?
eSIM.
Yeah, but what is that? What physical part? There's a lot of things have names or short names for stuff. You have to tune me in on
It's
what
an
you're actually talking
electronic
about.
SIM that's soldered to the circuit board of your phone.
All right. Oh, I'm not a phone guy. Do you know a couple of years I had a phone for 10 years, and it's only recently about when I say recently, 18 months ago when I changed my phone.
Uh huh.
Maybe a year ago, 18 months ago. I don't even remember because I don't really care. I don't really care about that much. But and that I changed my phone basically because it was really out of date. But I was using a very old phone because when people called the number, the whole thing worked for years and years, and the battery started to run down a bit. And I thought, well, I'll just change
Yeah,
my phone.
that's true.
Yeah, I've still got it. It's a great phone. It still kind of works, and in its time, it was great. And even now, it works great. Does everything it should do. But I never used it for internet or things like that very much. But nowadays, everyone's had to get a 5G thing and all this stuff. And even then, I don't use that very often. Only if I absolutely have to.
Well, what do you think about the new EU ruling? I think this is for 2025, maybe it's 2026, saying that all new phones to be sold in Europe must have use a removable, replaceable battery. I think that might be a little easier for you to understand from the technology perspective and the non-phone issues. The need to be able to replace the battery when it goes bad. Um,
Well, it's a safety issue as well. It's probably a good thing that they put some sort kind of seal in place, so that if something goes on fire, you can pull the thing out and stop it blowing up. And it's going to save a lot of money on things like um, e-waste, you know, things that are white, that like what we have in Europe or and lots of places in the world is an economy where people buy something if it breaks, they just throw it away and buy a new one because it's cheaper to buy a new one
right.
than replace it. So we have so much e-waste, it's incredible in the world. So with batteries and the resources for batteries being such a sort of tech hoard, and there's valuable resources and stuff like that right now. When, like, for instance, when nickel metal hydride batteries came in, or NIM batteries, or lithium ion batteries came in, there was this tech surge to get these things, and they were expensive, right? So you'll find that unless we have reserves to go and buy them, things won't be cheap. So, and obviously, when we buy things in bulk, when these things first become available, there's a high price on them. The companies want to make their money back. So I noticed something interesting recently to do with tech, Michelle, and I could not believe it. I really could. Do you know how everyone's talking about gaming and games and the latest graphics cards and stuff like that for games? And
Right.
look what this can do with 4K. Well, do you know Intel graphics cards? You know the A770. It's sort of their kind of $400 range graphics card. Do you know the difference between that and was it a 3090 Ti? That a 3090 Ti would render a 1 hour 4K footage. It would do the rendering in 1 minute.
Right.
Do you know the difference between that and a $400 16 gig Intel A770.
No.
The Intel A770 does it in 2 minutes. Anyone normally would be happy with that. So for a quarter of the price or less, you can buy something that does it. It just takes a minute longer, 1 minute longer.
By the
So
way, one of my users is asking a
creators-
question. He's saying
for
here
creators, that's
is,
fantastic.
what do I need? What I am needing is software to rewrite the boot track to fix the directory on the drive he has.
Yeah, so you're looking for a coder to help you with that, right? So like, everyone thinks, oh, you know stuff about computers. You say, yeah, and they think you know about everything. Well, that's not true. So I mean, unless you study everything all the time, it's a constantly evolving thing. So
Yeah.
when it comes to the basic stuff, I get most of it. But when you're going off in like data recovery, I understand it, but I'm not a data recovery specialist. When it comes to things like coding stuff, I'm not a coding specialist. I'm a computer guy. I do computers, and I do most mainstream computers. I could fix servers. I do all sorts of stuff like that. And when it comes to, like, generally speaking, it's just gaming computers I make because people want something just a bit better than an Xbox or something cheaper in the long run. So that's basically what I do, or what I've been doing for a few years, and now I'm pretty much retired. So I don't really have an issue with having to study up on it constantly all the time. I think I've come out at a good time. I've come out with the business at a good time now, so I'm quite happy with that. It'll constantly progress.
Have you tried using the ifdisk command to do this? Type in ifdisk space /mbr to reset the master boot record. I don't know if that would help, but
What on a floppy?
He's saying that he has a need that I need software to rewrite the boot track to fix the directory.
Right, so there'd be a set of commands for that. That's on a floppy.
He's looking for, this is for a hard drive he has. He wants to recover a hard drive from Windows 2K.
Why are you using a floppy?
So I'm suspecting that in this case he's booting off of a floppy disk. So he's going to have.
Why though? Why? What's the?
I don't know why.
It's retro.
Ask him why.
Not you. I'm asking. I don't know how to say that name. I don't know what name is it up. Is it Manyard? I don't know.
He wants to recover his data. That's why.
Right, I'm with you. So you've put MP3s onto a floppy, and it's irrecoverable, but through the floppy. See, that's something, unless
you have to plug that into a secondary drive because most MP3s are bigger than a 1.44 floppy are.
Right. I have no clue. I mean, I don't really see if I spoke to you, it'd probably be better than reading what you're saying. It would come across better, I think. Manyard. I don't. Right. Okay.
I would say, try using fdisk/mbr on the drive to clear up the master boot record. May not help with the allocation table, but it might. Or if you really don't feel comfortable doing that, maybe you can find a local data recovery place if it's really, really, really important to you.
Yeah, possibly, but there'll be an instruction set somewhere. I bet you there's a YouTube video out there for that.
Ultra Star.
I remember looking at something with the retro stuff a few months back, and it's just slipped my mind right now because I'm not really I don't really have my computer brain on right now.
Well, I tend to like the Western Digital Black, and I'm going to try the gold as well.
Well, the black and the blue were very, very similar drives if at one point, and there wasn't much difference between the two of them, as
Right,
I recall, except the price was different.
right,
And
and they were slightly better quality in the black. Um, and most of my current computers right now have the black drives. This the one that's the secondary computer hard drive in this computer is the blue one. Well, 2.5-inch blue drive.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So that's like out a laptop or something.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You're very
Yes,
clever,
like
Michelle.
you said earlier, is that the 2.5-inch drive, because of its size, is powered entirely by the USB-C cable plugged into the back of Mac Mini. So it's conveniently it's just one cable instead of multiple cables coming out and going to power bricks and everything else.
Yeah,
Kind of would like to keep that same idea, which means I'd have to go for another 2.5-inch drive. But looking
yeah,
on eBay, I'm not seeing a very many hard drives bigger than 1 terabyte in 2.5-inch SATA.
yeah. So yeah, I've just started thinking about what I'm hearing you, Michelle, but I'm just been thinking about what is it Maynard's saying when he says never mind. Uh, the there is instructions for that on YouTube. I've seen it before because I had to do a quick recap myself months ago, something to do with floppies and the first hard drives. There it is out there. If you have a look on YouTube for it, I'm sure that there is videos. It was someone like the 8-bit guy or the 12-bit guy, some YouTuber like that had stuff to do with that.
8-bit guy, and
Yeah,
also maybe while
yeah,
you're at, go talk to Kasaji Electric, because Kasaji Electric, while he's dealing with the Centurion, he might know people in his Discord that might
yeah,
know how to begin the process of recovering. We're talking about guys that are extremely intelligent. These guys
yeah,
got Discord full of very knowledgeable people that can probably get you going in the right direction. If you go out there to Kasaji Electric and maybe even the 8-bit guy, like Brian PC suggested, both guys have fairly knowledgeable people in their Discords.
yeah. I mean, with floppy disks, you're
Hell, you
talking.
might even want to ask Fran Blanche while you're at it, because even though she doesn't really do computer stuff strictly, Fran Blanche also has a very knowledgeable Discord as well. So just look
Yeah,
for FRAN space BLANCHE on YouTube. And that way, Kasaji Electric is spelled KASAGI space electric. Kasaji Electric.
yeah.
Um,
I'm just
those
thinking,
two channels
Michelle,
would be a good start.
is that he needs to code in the DOS instructions? Is that what he means? Because
What he needs to find a way to fix a directory entry so he can read
yeah,
read
yeah,
the disk, because the
yeah,
directory is seeing its boot sector, the MBR. If it's just a master
yeah.
boot record, like I said, you could try using the fdisk program when you boot
No,
up a floppy. Just
no,
type disk
it'll
space slash MBR.
yeah,
Um,
it'll be in that drive will be on slave. It won't be on MBR surely, depending on the year of the computer.
right. If it's on
Yeah,
slave, then that's not going to do him any good. It'll just clear the
yeah,
MBR of the boot drive.
yeah. So if you check the back of it and see if there's two little pin connectors, it joins the pin. It's like a jumper. It's called. Just
Right,
make
if
sure
it's an
it's on the right
IDE
one.
drive or EIDE or PADA, it's going to have a master or slave.
Yeah,
So
Just
If
check
so,
that first. Yeah, I mean that's old tech. I mean it's really old tech, and yeah, I went through all that. I went through tape machines. You know, you had to type in all the programs to get the computer to,
yeah, they
ZX81.
do.
I've done it all. I've done it all. It's just, I just can't remember offhand. Sorry about that, bud. I really wish I could help you there, but I think checking up on old videos would definitely get you there a lot quicker than my tech support. I could probably find it quick, but um, I think you know what you're talking about as well um, as anyone, So
Right.
yeah,
So I think that we think that those three people might be a good choice to talk to. Gasaji Electric, 8-Bit Guy, and Fran Blanche. Because their discords are pretty
yeah,
expansive. If you go to My Science and Tech, you'll see videos by at least one or two of all three of them, particularly the Kasaji Electric's when I've been featuring his videos about his vacuum tube computer he's building from scratch.
right.
Um, it's absolutely fascinating. You might want to look at it, Brian PC, if you're in my Discord. Go take a look at the Kasaji Electric 8-bit computer, or the vacuum tube computer he's building.
Yeah, it's kind of like the atomic clock. It's great to look at. Um, do you see
All
the?
right, now he wants to have the timing done by the paper tape punch he's building for it, so that every instruction that comes in is going to provide the clock cycle on the paper tape.
Yeah,
I think that's interesting. He's also working on the Bendix G15 computer as well for a computer museum in Maryland right now. So he's cleaning up and restoring the Bendix G15 as well
yeah,
from 1956. So
yeah,
big vacuum tube computer using DTL logic.
yeah. You know what I say? I say bring back someone like Alan Turing for that, because his insight would be amazing. Alan Turing, the famous, was he Polish? I believe it was. He cracked the Enigma code way back
And
in the Second World War. Amazingly smart man, especially for his time as well. I mean, I
right,
take a hat off to people like him. He was an
we're talking about
incredibly
computers
intelligent.
like Colossus.
Yeah, it's basically, down at Blexley House. Was it Blexley House? They cracked. The Americans gave the information they had, and it was actually Turing who, I think he was a refugee who came into the UK, and he cracked the Enigma code for the Germans that they were using in the submarines way back in the 40s. So yeah, that was done at Blexley. I think it was Blexley House. It was on the grounds there anyway. They turned this house into and they put the computer and everything inside this big house. It was
Yeah.
massive. But that kind of thing is really cool. I like watching things like that. They're amazing. They're
Yeah,
really
because the
interesting. Yeah.
Enigma cipher was really, really important for reconnaissance. If they could crack the cipher of Enigma, they could really. It was decided because the way the Germans were doing Enigma, that it had to be a machine that could um, calculate a variety of the cipher conditions. I try to understand a little bit about Enigma. I don't understand it at all. I'm not a cryptographic person, so cryptography is something I don't really know much about.
Okay, so what Manyard was talking about was making DOS files. Is it diskettes you're using? I take it, or the larger ones. So
He's saying he had a 13K program on his floppy disk that he would used to use to fix the master boot record. Yeah, try
yeah,
F disk.
yeah,
F disk could do that for you. You just make sure that drive
yeah,
is the first drive on the cable. Make sure it's in master, and then put
yeah,
it to the floppy disk with the like MS-DOS 6.22 whatever, and then you should be able to do an MBR using the F-disk program and command and DOS. So when you're at the A prompt, then you just type fdisk space /MBR. As long as the drive is plugged in, set up as master, you should be able to adjust the master record. May not
Yeah.
fix everything, but it might help.
Yeah, you can. From what I understand, you can actually plug it into a modern computer and transfer the stuff through image files or something. I'm pretty sure I seen someone do that. There was an interesting
That would
video.
be another option. If
Yeah.
the thing is, you can't read the directory though.
Well, the thing is, yeah, that's an issue. So he needs the instructions for that, the DOS command for it.
Right. You need
So
instructions to rebuild the directory structures.
so right, okay. So that's a simple set of instructions. and a
First thing I
and a
would
little
do
bit of
right
typing.
now is get yourself a program that will back up the drive image
Is
to
it
a file first.
right?
You
So
don't necessarily want
to
to work on
format,
the extra physical drive if you can avoid it. So find a way to back up the disk image. Then you can work on the disk image and try out different ways to restore directory structures.
yeah, I think like don't type in you know in format A:/F:720. Don't do that because I'll format it, right? So don't do that.
Oh, we don't want to
right?
format it. No, I think what he's
Yeah,
trying to do is he's trying to recover the directory structure so he can access the files. Because right now he can't access the file allocation table because he doesn't have the extent to the files. He needs to get the directory
right.
that contains at least the first entry of the file allocation table, which is where the file starts.
Yeah, if it was empty, it would be format command to format the
Right,
floppy
it's
disk,
using
right?
NTFS though, because it's Windows
Yeah.
2000, so it's not.
Yeah, it's quite a specialist thing that when I say specialist, it's like old school. You know,
Yeah.
it's like antiques for the modern people. The modern people aren't going to know much about antiques. You know, the young people aren't going to. That's not going to be their kettle of fish. That's not going to be their thing. So
You're welcome.
yeah, it's been so long since I've used that stuff. Wow, such a long time ago.
I haven't either. I haven't. Shit, I got hard drives from the days of the MS-DOS 3.3. I haven't even touched. I don't even know if I even have it over all my OLMR. I used to have some MFM hard drives too, and I don't have any way to read those because I don't have an ST506-412 controller, and my Mac doesn't support them. My Mac doesn't support SCSI anymore. I got a SCSI drive tower I can't even use on this Mac.
Yeah, you've got to handle those things really carefully as well, because they over time they can be
Yes,
corrupted.
they can.
So if it's really important data, you're talking about data specialists. They might be able to even give you.
And not only that, but sometimes they don't just automatically go corrupt. It's just the drives get stuck, like the stiction thing, or the grease dries out. It just
it's like the old cassettes. They literally fall apart. Well,
right.
those old
The
diskettes.
oxide's flaking off. Yeah.
Yeah, they actually break apart, like the old cassettes, you know, that you used to listen to years
And I'm
ago.
even seeing the same thing with DVDs and Blu-rays that they're deteriorating too.
Yeah, it depends how they're stored. Mainly, some of the older ones are doing okay if they're stored right, but some of the newer ones not so good, because they're basically
I think it's
thinner.
really showing a Blu-ray of Lord of the Rings, the Two Towers. After we started showing on the first one, which I really think was the third one, but I don't know. And we had Lord of the Rings, and it was starting playing fine, and all of a sudden it's to go skip, 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 right? And So at first disc, I could see there was a scratch on it. So okay, so maybe the first disc just got scratched. So it looked like it was pretty deep. The second one had no scratches at all, totally fine. The disc is almost translucent. It's like,
Yeah.
is DVDs Blu-ray supposed to be translucent? I'm like, this looks kind of clear to me. Like, where's all the dye?
Yeah, it's clear ray. That's what it is, Michelle. It's clear ray.
Yeah.
Not Blu-ray, it's clear ray. Yeah.
So it's like Joe Biden's mind. I'm
I have
sorry,
no idea.
my
I have
mind
no
is
idea.
losing my mind right now.
Yeah, me too. I'm losing my mind too. I mean, I lost my mind for a few years, so I know exactly how that feels. And right now, I'm having blank spots all over the place the last few days, so it's been pretty bad. So sorry I can't help you, Manyard. On a good day, I am a-okay, but I'm not. The last week's been
Well,
hellish.
I'll tell you
So
what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try to update the wish list again. I'll add some storage medium to it. As I said, I do got a couple 3.5 inch drive boxes. They're only USB 2.0 and FireWire 400, 800. Yeah. The only problem is the Mac Mini doesn't have 800, so it wouldn't be able to do anything good with the 800 connector. No. But at least I got at least FireWire, USB 2.0 on them for the 3.5 inch boxes, so I could go for the 3.5 inch boxes, drives, or I could go with the little 2.5 inch, similar to the one you originally bought me. That little drive case is still working quite fine. So
yeah, the little drive cases are fantastic. I'm just looking at one just now. I just pulled them out the drawer. Oops. Yeah, there we
yeah,
go. The ones that I got just for 1 terabyte storage, just for the systems I was building, just so we could have some external storage, was oh cricky, where is it? For WAP, 5 volt, 1 amp, SATA 3, 2.5 inch.
right. That's why the little
So
laptop drives, like 2.5 inch, do make
yeah,
sense because they don't need 12 volts. They just need 5. So
yeah, they're
you know
great.
they're 5 watts. I mean that's within reason of my Mac Mini can supply that without breaking a sweat. Considering the fact that the original power supply in it was originally designed for the i7, they just used the same power supply that was used in the Mac Mini with the i7.
Yeah, the little controller that controls SSD is inside that, pretty much like a hard drive. So a little tip for folk who have an old hard drive, for instance,
Yeah,
if they break on you, if you can get the same year, the same batch, you could probably swap out not the disk but the board inside it, and it will work. So you can recover all your data rather than put it through a recovery specialist. If you can get the exact same one, the exact same drive from the same
right.
year and the same batch, that's a really inexpensive way to recover your data.
That is expensive.
Even if it's
Lightsabers will do it for you, but yeah, you're right. It's board level.
yeah,
They have to program the controller identically. So
yeah, exactly. That some of them are, and some of them aren't, because it's all set to the actual discs.
I got an
The little
80 gig. I
controller, I
got
mean.
an
Yeah.
80 gigabyte hard drive. This is an interesting story. The motor died on it. I don't know if it's the controller chip because the because this drive won't spin anymore. But you feel the motor drive chip is just hot,
Yeah.
and
What
I
are
was
those?
asking myself, well, either the drive controller chip went bad because it's a three-phase motor, or the motor is bad, or both are bad. I'm like, how much money is this going to cost me to send it to a professional to fix it? It was more than I had. I was like, no. Write it up as a lost cause. Anything that's on that drive
Yeah.
is long gone.
Well, do you remember those drives I just mentioned, Michelle? Those 3 1 terabyte drives and enclosures. I managed to get the 3 drives for £100. It was 33,
Yeah.
and it's a lot less in dollars. Um, and I am sure that Amazon do cheap drives. You just need to search around for them. So if it's just to get stuff off and get it stored, it'll be fine. You just need to format to the right format, and you're set. And
Well,
in
that's one of the
enclosure,
reasons why
drop
I
them off.
like to do is I like to
Yeah,
basically assemble the setup myself.
yeah.
So
It's just a
use
young click
that's
it. You
housing and drive to go in there.
Yeah, you just slide it in. It's literally, and you click the top on it. It's quite simple. It's not difficult. It's just a really simple thing to do. But you could have a 2 terabyte, a 4 terabyte, whatever size you want in one of those the little
Right.
controller, and it'll transfer data at six gigabytes. So you'd be set. It's fast enough.
What do you
As,
think
as
about this new
yeah.
technology they're working on, as I mentioned earlier, about the 1 petabyte drives, optical drives?
Oh, I mean, that's not something I'm really interested. I mean, who's going to use that? I don't mean to diss it. It's fantastic, right? I just, it's not something I'll ever use. It's not something I'm interested in. Do you know? It,
Well, I think it's
so
interesting
when,
with the storage density, but I agree with
yeah,
you.
but it's something that it's you and I are never going to use. That's data center stuff.
I mean, hell, right. I mean, you can
That's
see me
kind of
getting
already
a
out
one
there.
gigabyte drive. How much is that going to cost me?
Uh,
Oh, how much is the disk going to cost me? You just need 1 petabyte disk, especially if it's
yeah,
like a I don't know what we're going to call the format. Let's just call it peta petabyte RAM.
yeah. Well,
It's like a DVD RAM disk. All of a sudden, you got this drive holding all these bits, and
yeah,
you're going to be cramming what? Every single file you ever uploaded, created,
yeah.
download. How are you going to catalog all that? I
Yeah,
mean,
a million, a million to 4 million movies on
I
it,
mean, a
something
thousand
like that.
terabytes.
Yeah, it's insane the amount of stuff you could
It
do on
is
that. Yeah,
absolutely insane. It definitely would be good
and
data center like Google
yeah,
or Apple.
It's the kind of thing that needs to be kept in a secure storage area. And I can't imagine the heat of that.
But
Is it
those guys
hot?
also already
Yeah.
have huge tape arrays too. I mean, they're not
Yeah.
really like
Well, I don't know about that. I don't know if that not like a museum piece of tape arrays, but definitely
I mean
they would
LTO6, LTO9,
yeah. Well, they would
you're talking about huge densities of tape.
yeah, they would literally raid stuff together to get to work fast years ago. So as fast as you could, what was the old video? You could drop a CD out the window before it hits the ground. You could download something, right? As long as you had enough drives linked up in RAID to receive it, the old hard drives at 1.5 megabytes, right? As long as it was received well enough by the computer would run it, right?
I mean, you're
And it
talking
would,
about when
yeah,
you talk about history, you're talking about like hard drives, like I said, 5 megabytes, 10 megabytes, 20 megabytes, like from the
uh,
1980s,
oh
30
yeah, yeah.
megabytes, and
I
all of
think,
a sudden you're getting into the gigabytes now or the terabytes.
yeah, I
The
think in
amount
the
of data
eighties,
entry that we're storing is mind numbing.
yeah, the in the eighties, people were writing it out magazines and writing like if what was that
Paper is still pretty much a thing.
Pac-Man, yeah,
We didn't have
Pac-Man,
the internet
yeah,
really
yeah, we didn't have
available
the
back in the
internet.
1980s. That didn't really come into vogue until about 1995, 1998. Then you start getting people starting hoarding stuff left and right. You know,
Yeah, I think our queen was one of the first people to ever use the internet, and she contacted America, if I remember
right?
right.
That was
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
she did.
She's passed now, but there you go. That's
Remember,
it.
she had a long range. She was
Yeah,
1953. Is it?
yeah, something like it's a long time.
All the way up until 2023.
Yeah, she
Wow.
passed. She passed near my house. On her journey home on the way.
She saw
Yeah,
everything from the early days of television broadcasting being mainstream in the UK to color to flat screen panel TVs to the new internet TVs to the internet, and so she had a long now line of experience, which most people don't realize that was pretty
Yeah,
experienced. Period.
she had a lot of privilege, but I wouldn't for to have that life is amazing, but it's also as one of the royals said, it's one of those lives that you know not one of the royal family would choose if they had the choice. They wouldn't
Yeah,
choose to do that because it's such a different way to live from normality, from normal day to day folk. The It's just such a burden because everything's marked out for you. Yeah,
yeah.
you will get a good education, that's for sure. But it's even that set out for you, so when you hit the real world or when you see the young
I mean, the
princes,
first thing, as
yeah,
far as comparing
yeah,
the experiences which she had from her childhood versus the experiences we have today in our childhoods. I grew up in the night. I was born in 1968, so I'm certainly younger than the Queen. And you sound like you're about the same age as me. Um, so I
yeah. I
know this.
wish, I wish I was the same age as you. It'd be great. Would be great, wouldn't it? We'd be like, we'd be right on ball with each other about stuff, but we're not. So we're almost there, though.
How
We're
do you
almost
think the younger generation now, Generation Alpha, which is the youngest generation, their educational system, if they were to experience the education that even we had in the 1970s.
Well, you had AC and BC, so you had before calculators and after calculators. So, like, calculators were kind of a cheat, right? So that's the way I look at it.
I mean, first
So,
of all, you
yeah,
realize when I went to school, we did not
yeah,
use calculators. Um,
exactly, right. So, me neither.
we used to do
Yeah,
long division on paper. That's
yeah, exactly,
in
right. Yeah,
sections and stuff. I think that the 12-year-olds, this generation alpha, would probably go, oh well, there's Google for that. I'm
yeah.
sorry, but the
They've
year is
grown up.
1975 and there's no Google, so you ain't gonna be able to go ahead and ask Google for help you to solve them.
Yeah,
Like,
they've grown
then
up
they
too fast.
rationalize the common denominator in a fraction. I
It's
think
that.
that I think that today's kids would be totally mind blown and say, "What, you used to do this? Yes, we
Yeah,
used to do
yeah,
it.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
part of our
You're right.
life. We had to do everything on it by hand." Oh yeah, I mean sometimes we would have to look for people who are in trigonometry. We'd have to look up trigonometric tables and stuff like that, like sine, cosine, or cosine, and things like that. Um, I, I I didn't do too much with trig, but I do know about trig. I also took the time to learn how to use slide rule, even though they were pretty much out of vogue even in the 1980s. I still know how to use the C and D scales on my slide rule. Um, but the point is that today's kids, I don't know how they would adapt to if they were thrust back into those time periods when they don't have tablets, don't have internet, don't even have cell phones. Everybody had a home phone with a rotary dial on it.
Well, do you know what? I think kids adapt really well. People that grew up with me, they adapted really well to the situation. So, and I think when you're young, you kind of
It'd be
keep
like almost like
keen.
Guardian of Forever, in Star Trek.
Yeah, you're keen
When
to get on with it,
when
right?
when Spock has to go back and design a way to reach the ship using vacuum tubes to
Yeah, yeah.
oh that was a trip watching that. And
Yeah,
he's got these big octal tubes sitting on his bed, and something kind of burns out with some of the fireball shows up. Like, oh boy,
yeah. That's
I
really
know had a
funny.
good idea to put that on your bedspread, Trump. I mean,
Yeah.
Spock. Come on.
Star Trek was funny because you knew that the guys in red would always get it right before the main characters. You knew that
Hey,
if the guys were red, they were going to go at some point. They were like the
oh, I mean,
standings,
everybody's at different ages.
Yeah.
That's what makes this channel so interesting. Many RDs, we're all different ages here. We all have experiences that we can pass on to the younger people, and the older people probably also may not know what's going on with the younger people, and the younger people teach the older people too. That's the other thing this channel does. We share information.
Yeah, my daughter, she's a really clever girl. I say girl, I mean she's grown up. She lives in her own house and she's got lots going on. But
Yeah,
she's with a partner. She's like, she's all sorts of crazy stuff going on in her life. But she's turned into a manager. So I think I've brought her up okay. So she manages things, and
yeah.
she's really good at what she does. So I think when you say that you brought your kid up too well. Well, I think I brought her up too well because she's so in charge of everything she does now. She's just like a little mini me. And I look back on it and I think, well, I wasn't quite as. She's actually worse than I was. So she's even more
Well,
pedantic
let's
about
put it this
things.
way: you got the skill set, you got the knowledge, and you
Yeah,
got the
yeah,
ability to learn and grow. You're going to have upward mobility in almost any business.
yeah.
And
She's much better at
that's
mathematics as well.
the
Yeah,
I think that a lot of the teachers are trying to teach you, Generation Alpha are finding out is that Generation Alpha has got the thinking that they know everything. Oh, no, you don't.
yeah.
You're
I
from
don't think people
Generation
think
X.
that.
You don't know it all. And you're
Yeah,
only no older than 12 years old. Don't tell me you know everything because you don't.
that's true. They don't, but I think it's their keenness to get on with it that is impressive when you're young. Your keenness to get on with it, to get on with the day, whatever your tasks are. With a lot of young people, I think that's fantastic, right? And that's still a thing. So like, I try not to give young people such a hard time because they're going through the exact same things that we all went through. Maybe it's a different person, but they could be going through something very similar. So
I
I
mean,
don't look
I
at
have
children that way, but yeah, I mean,
I have
you
interests in things that
you got to
most
help them.
young kids say will never understand. For example, like telephone exchanges. Um, they have no idea what that is. All they know
Well,
is, oh, I got this little phone. I just basically type on it and then calls my friend. Oh, do you know
yeah,
how it works behind the scenes? No.
there
Oh,
are
let's
some
go inside the step-by-step telephone switch and we'll tell you all about it.
from
What
my
is the line
understanding of
selector?
it.
What does this do? What does that do? I just love that stuff. I just love. I grew up with the telephone as a kid, so yeah. And I actually got a chance to tour the local phone company right before they switched to electronic switching because he used to use the old Stoger step-by-step switching, which is
That's really cool because
noisy as
I
hell.
know
You go
that.
in there and it's loud. One of those mechanical steppers going up and down, and hunt line finders, and it's cool. And now there's a thing called the Computer Museum in Seattle, which is totally awesome. They got a couple different phone systems there up on display, including the last working panel switch, which is totally the trip. When they explain how the panel switch works, talking about brushes and contacts, it's like, oh my god, how did those guys back in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s and so on create all this? I mean, remember, Stroger was just an undertaker. He wasn't even an
Yeah.
engineer.
Yeah, the struggle was real years ago. I mean, it's real now today, but back then it was real. It was as real as you can imagine. Everything was done by hand, and when I say by hand, I mean with the sweat of your brow and your back. Um, and nowadays things are so much simpler. I think it's a different type of difficulty that people are dealing with nowadays. So
I mean, and then I haven't even talking about Crossbar yet. You talk about Crossbar, and it's like it's just kind of an expansion to Stroger step by step. This technology is built upon the technology of the past. It's still true to this day. For example, Blu-rays are built on the concepts of DVDs, which is built on the concepts of CDs, which of course is built upon the concept of vinyl records. Think about it; it kind of is.
yeah, the
It's
circular
just having
disc
a physical
concept. Yeah,
corner. Yeah, which is the circle of disc concept was created by a Frenchman, which replaced the Edison cylinder, which replaced. It's just like James Burke talked about in his series called Connections. How one thing led to another, which led to another, which led to another, which led to another, which led to another. You know, James Burke was really good about that in his Connection series. If you go back and look at that, it's totally awesome to think about how everything all.
Oh, it's just too old for me. It's so 5 minutes ago, Michelle. I don't know how I could ever do that, you know.
Uh,
If you say that to a young person, they might be interested, they might not, but they might just say, "That's so 5 minutes ago, Dad."
right now, I've been watching videos on guys
Yeah.
fixing old watches right now for some reason. Um, I find it absolutely amazing how many tiny parts are inside a watch. Like they're talking about parts that are almost microscopic. The little tiny gears and springs and I'm like, oh my god, I could never put those together. We were talking originally about surface mount. If anybody knows anything about surface mount, it's a watchmaker. And so you have to deal with those tiny little screws and parts.
Yeah, my mother's cousin was a watchmaker and did watch repairs and stuff like that a long time
Yeah,
ago. And yeah, he would have you'd walk into the shop and there'd be like 20 clocks on the wall and 20 clocks on another wall, and it'd be
yeah.
like it was just like empty, and everything was behind, you know, the door. You go through a door at the back, and then everything was there. You know, there was all the like spares everywhere. It was like the oddest collection of stuff, and uh, and that was just off the high street in Edinburgh, Scotland. So it was
Yeah.
an amazing old it was an amazing old shop. And it was in the old town, you know, where the castle is and
I
all that
mean,
kind
you
of
got
stuff.
younger
It's
people
near there.
starting to
So
get into this now as a hobby,
yeah,
and I was kind of totally flabbergasted when I saw inside of one Seiko digital watch that was called a Pan Am. I don't know all the details to name it out. For slips my mind. And this is a quartz watch. This is an LED or LCD quartz watch, and we all seen LCD quartz watches. We have all probably at least popped them out to take out or change the battery, right? This thing had more parts in it than I'm totally surprised at how many parts were in that Seiko just to hold the display in place.
yeah. Well, if you grew up in the 80s, you know, Japan or China or Taiwan or wherever that were producing these things, they were literally selling them for 99 pence here or I think
Yeah, but you know the
five
new
pounds was a
latest Chinese watch that's being marketed on Etsy
they're
is
expensive, man.
amazingly complicated. If you go check out my science and technology on my Discord, you will see so many videos on some featured stuff that we're talking about. It just is enough to blow your mind.
Yeah, I use the watch I use my daily is a Swatch Skin because it doesn't catch on anything. So when I'm working away and stuff, it doesn't catch on anything I'm working on because it's really tight to the skin and it's thin.
I mean, this watch
So
here
I can't feel it on my wrist
is
at
so
all. So
deceptively simple when you think
yeah,
about what it is. It's not that fancy inside. But if
yeah,
one of those watchmakers gets this watch apart, you're gonna see teeny pieces you never expected, like little microscopic 1 millimeter C clips. What? 1 millimeter C clips? I can barely even deal with any kind of SOICs. Never mind 1 millimeter C
yeah.
clips.
I've got a diving watch about the same size as the one on your wrist. Um, and I bought a. There was someone famous who had a watch for sale, and I bought it. It's quite cool. I'll pull it out here. I wish I could show you this. It's a Timex.
Yeah.
You know, with the calculator on it. It's
I
brilliant.
used to have a Casio with a calculator on it.
Yeah, it's kind of the same setup. It's just a different name or brand. It's probably exactly the same inside. Yeah, so that's another one.
Are you still on my Discord by any chance? I think you were. I want.
I've never left it. If you've changed Discord, then I'll be gone. But
Oh, get a new link. I'll put
um,
it up here for you guys
no,
in case
no,
you don't
I'm
have it.
rarely ever on Discord nowadays because I've too much
It's the
stuff
same
going on.
Discord. It's just
Yeah.
a lot of people that were dormant for so long. Some of the mods decided to clear them out, and I don't know if you were one of the people that got cleared out or not.
Well, probably it doesn't matter. You know, I'm rarely ever on it. So I mean, if you're on Discord, you'll see me down the list. So if I'm
So
not
what
there,
I'll
then
do
I'm
is
not
let me
there.
give you the link directly since you have it, so you can see it.
You have to remember my password now for Discord. You've really put me in it now, Michelle.
Okay. There you
Oh
go.
yeah, I've got the worst memory in the world right now.
All right, now I can also at the same time give you the updated wish list when I get a chance. So,
Uh-huh.
well, we had a good morning show today.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I still haven't heard from Tiger Kitty yet.
Well, I think Tiger Kitty is lovely. I mean, she's just such a good friend to you.
I know, but unfortunately, I
Yeah.
had a bit of an issue yesterday. Which,
Yeah, but you know, that was yesterday. You know, don't worry about it. You'll be fine.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe she'll come back. Um, we'll see. That's all I can say. But thank you very much for coming up on panel. I appreciate it, and I will take a look at the wish list and see what we can do to update it.
Yeah, I mean, even if I mean it's not that I'm going to buy you everything on it or anything like that.
I know
It's
you
just
can't. No one's
it's
asking you to. And
I just
besides, some of
I
the stuff
just
I've
really came
seen on
on.
there is actually so inexpensive. Like
Yeah,
foam wig heads. I mean, not that expensive. I made sure they were in stock. They were at the time the list, obviously.
yeah,
Some things I did refresh, like that Blue Eddie box. I did get a new one, updated listing for that.
yeah.
So I'll
I
try
just
to get some new updates as I
that
can.
that was the main thing. I mean, mainly I'm more free. I mean, it's really random now when I'm free, but it's mainly the weekends. That's when I'm more likely to be free than
Yeah.
during the week. And some evenings I'm free because I've had a lot going on. So it's been really nice talking to you, Michelle, because it's been such a long time since we have spoken. So
Yeah.
everybody in the chat, I just want to say hello to everyone because they've never.
I will tell you, a lot of us actually,
Yeah,
a lot of them did enjoy it. When you and I were talking, we did get up like 14 people were watching when we were talking about some of the stuff. So there are some people that are still interested in this stuff, even to this day. And so, but I want to say thank you for coming up. I really do appreciate. Oh, I mean, we can talk about more stuff, but I think it's getting time for me to get ready to take
yeah,
things. You
yeah. Okay,
too.
I'm
It's
gonna.
already 2:11 in the afternoon here. Oh my God, it's 5:11 in your time zone. No, it's 7:11 in your time zone. Oh, thank heavens for 7:11, right? All right.
It's
So thank you for being here. I appreciate it.
it's 6:11.
Oh, it's 6:11.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
right. You guys still didn't go into summertime yet.
So it's 1 a.m. Eastern. Is it?
All right, now we
UK
went ahead
Central.
our summertime. We just went ahead to summertime.
Oh,
Just
right. Okay.
so you haven't had your summertime
Yeah.
yet. That's
Well,
what it,
I really enjoyed coming on to the amazing, the
yeah.
incredible
Well, I appreciate you coming
Michelle
here.
Marie Delaney show because I've really wanted to
Well,
do
it's
this.
actually pronounced Delaney.
Okay. Right.
Not Y
Listen.
A.
I'm Scottish. You
It's
don't
okay.
tell a
That's right.
Scotsman how to
If
pronounce
the
words.
Protestant side of the family is pronounced Delaney, yes.
Right. Okay. Well, have a good day, everyone, and I hope everything
Yep.
goes
See you
really great.
soon.
Okay. You'll take care, everyone.
Yep. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
So, everybody, it is time for us to do the same thing. And I want to thank you all for coming up here today and being a part of the show. And The weather's nice out there. It's 6:12 o'clock for the end of the month. Okay. I remember that's one of the things is I think we should get rid of the stupid summer winter time things. This just confuses everybody, especially between different time zones, different countries. So for now, let's just go give you a blessing. May you all basically stay out of trouble, be excellent to one another, and party on. Amen to that. Amen to that. And of course, I'll see you guys on Wee Woo Wednesday. Wee Woo Wednesday. If I get a chance to make it there, I should be able to be on Wee Woo Wednesday on J Mac Oregon. So, but for now, I gotta get going. So, everybody, thank you for being here. I will see you all tomorrow morning. Bye bye for now. Bye bye, guys. Bye bye, everybody. Don't laugh at me. Sometimes I screw up too, but you know what? At least I try. Yeah, we try. But thanks to Brian PC, thanks to Noodles, thanks to Stan CT, thanks to everybody else. And we'll see you all in the morning. Bye bye. Yes, guys. Bye bye for now. Bye bye.